A2J plays. Oh yeah, what do you guys do for A2J plays anyway? Dude, I wish. How do we play? Through the internet? Like, you don't. You don't have to. All right.
I don't know if I timed that right, but whatever. Mics are live and we are live. Ultra Podcast Z, episode 98.5. Getting really close to the episode 100. As always, I'm Manuel, leader of AJ Connections. And joining me tonight for our special metal podcast is Mista Badguy.
What's up? Everybody probably already knows me by now, but I am Mr. Badguy, aka Frederick Badman, and I'm a good friend of Manuel that actually runs this very panel that we are supposed to be doing during cons, but since the Rona's over here trying to murder all events, you're here doing it on the podcast.
I know, like, if in another world, next weekend would be Fanime. Next weekend.
I know. Oh,
yeah. And for those who don't know, like Warren mentioned it right now. Warren's also his name, by the way. I'll jump back and forth between all the names. So you'll hear like 80, but that's for any podcast. Like when we have like Leslie on as Hara, but then it's Leslie, and then like when we have Max, it says Melancholia, but then we call her Max, and so on. So
I actually don't know Pallades.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up. I don't know it either. The other day, I was talking to Ribob, who's a mutual friend of all of ours, and Ribob's been on the podcast too for those watching. But she's a mutual friend of myself, Warren, and Pallades. And then I was talking to her about how funny and cool he is, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know his name. Like,
wait, so Ribob knows Pallades' name?
I don't know either. I assume she does.
Oh, okay.
But she didn't tell me.
I saw. Oh no, continue.
No, I was like, she didn't tell me. But you saw what?
Oh, okay. No, because I saw his. When we did the podcast last time, he had like a lanyard from Fake Star, and I was going to comment on it, but we were.
Oh shit! Really? Yeah. I didn't know. The fuck! I wish I noticed.
Like a lanyard.
I wasn't even paying attention to that. What the hell? Yeah.
That's because we're so into a Rona talk.
Yeah, I need to get back on the A2J bandwagon. I've been playing way too much Animal Crossing, but no, like Warren kind of hinted at there. The next couple weekend, well, the last weekend we did the Macross one. This weekend we're doing metal. Next weekend, hopefully, we're doing Eroguro. If not, then we might do VK. But TLDR, we're trying to like do all the panels as podcasts that we were supposed to do at Fanime. Hopefully we have enough time. I just realized I think that we should have started a week earlier, because if Fanime was next week, no. Fanime might have been the weekend after, because it might have been it was the weekend out. It's the weekend after next. So yeah, we have exactly enough time. Because it was the last.
No, it literally is it. I think is it next. Would it have been next week? Yeah,
Alexa,
next weekend.
When's Memorial Day? She doesn't know. Alexa, when is Memorial Day? Yeah, it's next weekend. It would have been next weekend.
Yeah, it is next. There we go, man. And we would have been drinking.
I know. So yeah, what do you know? I guess I kind of missed the day anyway. But yeah, we're talking about metal here. This is a really fun panel. We've done it at Fanime last year. We did it at HentaiCon. Rip HentaiCon, like in general. Then we did it at Fanime again, right?
You did, yeah. We did Fanime. Okay.
I meant I should have said last year, because it was like Fanime 2018 and then Fanime 2019, and then we did HentaiCon in between,
ALA,
and then ALA. Is that right? I feel like we've done I know we've
I
done
think-
Fanime twice, right? Am I making that
Yeah,
up?
we did anime 2 times. The only reason I remember is because I modeled 2 times
But yeah,
for one of our friends and did it, and did our those 2 times that we've done it, that we've done the
Yeah.
panel, the 2 times I modeled.
so we've done the panel a lot. It's cool. It's fun. It usually brings in a different crowd, which is always interesting to see. Yeah, it had to have been because HentaiCon didn't happen 2019. It happened 2018, and I know HentaiCon wasn't the first time we did it, but I don't know why I'm giving this so much thought. But I'm just wondering, did we do it at ALA last year? No.
We did.
We didn't. Did we?
We did. We did. Our first one was Fanime.
Yeah, and then I guess we just
2018.
Because I'm like, why didn't we do it ALA last year?
Yeah, then we did HentaiCon. I remember that one.
Yeah.
Because remember, I got super fucked up.
Oh my god. Okay, HentaiCon. I think that was that during the day? Yeah, it was during the day, and like, I don't remember if TLDR. That was a con. That was an all 18+ con. I mean, the metal one isn't an 18+ panel, but it was an. You know what? We did it at Anime California. It wasn't at HentaiCon. That's what it was. Sorry, that was the missing puzzle piece I needed. I'm like, wait, we didn't do it at HentaiCon.
It's the same venue.
It is the same venue, which is why it's confusing. I'm like, wait, I'm telling a different story. But real fast, just to cut to the chase about the HentaiCon one. The story I was gonna tell was that's an all 18+ con, obviously. And we were doing our 18+ panels during the afternoon, like at 2. We did our Eregudo panel like at 1 p.m. and we were so unused to it. We got like wasted before it. It was so weird getting wasted during the day and then going to a panel during the day. It was the weirdest sensation ever. But anyway, we're talking J metal. We're doing a lot of 80s stuff, and we're also traipsing into the 90s. So bear with us.
That's because a lot of the bands kind of just bleed into the 90s.
Yeah, like I for sure. At Fanime, the 80s part wasn't going to be included because they have a character limit, but we were already talking about dropping the 80s part, just like early Japanese metal, because most of it does bleed into the 90s, and that's a lot of. There's a chirp when Manuel talks at times. Really? Is it me? I mean, like, I don't know. Like, hold on. I may be peeking. Let me.
There's like it. I don't hear it.
Yeah, I lowered my setting. I lowered my. Let me lower that and raise it over here. Oh, get rid of you. Okay. Let me lower that there, then raise it over here. Let me know if you keep hearing it. I'm not gonna lie, it's really hot here, and I also have fans on me. But if it keeps, are you sure it's not just me? Because I am like, my mask is on extra tight today, and I'm actually wondering if I should loosen it a little. But anyway, so yeah, we're talking metal.
Don't do it.
Don't do it, the Rona. So let's get into it actually. And let me start pulling up the panel. And by the way, we're actually going to be using the exact panel that we use at ALA. We're gonna make some live additions to it. So keep an eye out for those.
You'll see some different. It's just a little different.
Yeah.
We added a few things here and there.
So first of all, actually, we won't watch Soldier of Fortune right now. Now, just to show you what this is we have an attract song that usually I'll put this playing when we start the panel, mainly so people who are walking by in the hallways can be like, oh, what's going on in here, and they'll jump in. And the song that I like to play for this part is Soldier of Fortune by Loudness, which is Loudness obviously is arguably one of the biggest bands in Japanese metal, and during this particular period they had an American vocalist by the name of Mike Viscera. And the song, honestly, even if Mike Viscera wasn't singing it, but then again, he did write the lyrics, I think, so it would have been different. But even if Mike Viscera wasn't singing it, this song is amazing, like, in general. Maybe we'll play it later during the Loudness section. But I just feel it's weird.
I think that would be probably the best. Yeah, to talk about Loudness and all of a sudden go to start introducing, like, what the fuck we're going to be talking about.
And then, so yeah, this is what you see when you go to an A2J panel, by the way. Except it's on a big monitor somewhere to the left or the right of us. That's just our intro slides. That's Warren's intro slide. Him looking all ridiculous, Mr. Bad Guy.
I look like Thor. I look like, is that the Thor one? Yeah,
it is. And you can that's all of our contact info. And of course, we always plug the podcast. But since y'all are here already, we're just gonna move along.
We're gonna double plug the podcast.
Now, before we actually start, I want to point out that we sort of did this podcast already about like a year ago. I don't know if you remember, Warren, but we didn't have the panel. We didn't do it in order.
Oh,
we just blabbed, and then we ended up spending about like 45 minutes just ranting about Yoshiki and how we keep using his music. Remember that?
Bro, this is gonna happen again.
Yeah,
just not 45 minutes.
So I'm not. Yeah, we'll talk about Yoshiki in a minute, but I just wanted to point out that for those who want to see a slightly different take of it, I'll have a link in the YouTube description of an earlier panel we did. Earlier podcast when we sort of covered this.
Well, they, because there's now that we added one band in particular we'll be talking about later. There was, I actually wanted to show some very interesting sounds, some controversy behind some like extra pan stuff. Ooh, it's juicy.
If anyone's still on, let me know if I'm chirping. Now I'm kind of nervous. I'm like, is the audio for this podcast ruined?
Let me see. Let me listen.
Yeah, I'm like, hold on a second, guys.
You sound fine.
Yeah, I don't hear the
you sound fine.
Like I was telling Fun Gummy in the chat, maybe it's just me. I mean, but he has heard. Fun Gummy's heard me in the podcast before, so I don't know. I am like I said, like my mask is a little tight, and I'm kind of fighting it a little when I breathe. But we need to wear the masks in the Rona, man. Real talk, wear your masks. So yeah. So what are we going to talk about? Talk about the lesser known music, especially in the 80s. But let's go to the 90s. We have some crazy obscure bands we talk about later. But the part I want to talk about is that we're going to show some pretty crappy video. We are going to show the video here. Now, I don't know if YouTube's going to catch us on this. So, warning everyone now, if you're watching on YouTube, that there might be cuts, or you might have to like maybe have to like fuck with the audio, or we might have to censor the video itself. So we'll do that on a case-by-case basis. This reminds me of the old days of the podcast when we used to actually live react to music videos, and that usually got us not in trouble, but it got a lot of podcasts flagged. I could care less if they just take it. I'm not even gonna monetize it. I can care less if they flag us a bit, but I just don't want it to be blocked. That's the one I'm avoiding.
Oh yeah, because that's what I was asking. I was just like, so if we do show the audience the music.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give it a shot, and we'll see what happens. Because all the videos we're using, all of them, we found on YouTube, and most of them were not on official channels. They were just up there. So I'm hoping that if they had them up, we should be fine. So we'll
That's
find.
what I'm saying. I'm just like, let's go. Like, how does this work?
We'll find out. If you watched the Macross one last weekend, I didn't even bother with videos because I'm like, those are gonna get claimed. Harmony Gold's gonna sue us, and they're gonna pull on the podcast. So I didn't even bother. But this one we're gonna try. And also, we're not really talking about Visual K or anything like that because we actually have a whole different other panel on that, and we plan to do a podcast on that panel as well. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, talking about the Visual K podcast. Is Rachel actually going to show up this time?
I know. Oh shit! I'm gonna tell her later on. You're calling her out, but yeah, she was supposed to be on the Macross one, and then she bamboozled us, and it was just me and Leslie, which is fine. If you watch that one, I was making the joke that like I've never done a podcast with like two people in forever, and it was. I mean, Leslie's been on a bunch, but I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work. Usually, you need. It's not that we need more people, but like. It's not that I don't want Leslie on there, but usually you need more people to like bounce things off of, like a joke or something, you know, or to pick up the slack when somebody's like not feeling great or whatever. like for the minute, not like for the whole podcast. And but it worked out really perfect. You should watch that one. I'll have a link to that below if for some reason you like Macross too. But you know what? By the way, I don't know if it's just me, but this font looks totally different, like in the PDF format. That is not the way the font looks when we do the panel live. Like, as a matter of fact, I think the font when we do it live, it's all caps. Like,
oh yeah, it's all caps. Yeah, I see it right here when I have it up. Yours right here, I was like, oh, it does look kind of wonky.
This is not the way we show it. I don't know why, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just looks different. But yeah, so a lot of the bands we talk about is very hair metal-y, so to speak, very glam metal. I made the joke, not to keep going there, but I made the joke when we were talking about the Macross panel that Macross 7 looks like an 80s show, but it's from the mid-90s. And that feels that feels like a lot of what Japan does. They seem a little bit behind in some of the trends at times. Still doing glam and like all that kind of shit, like well into the 90s.
Yeah, because they're doing a lot of pop rock and just like in what was it, and hard rock stuff. Even for I was like, for me even when I figured it out, I was like, was this made in the 80s? And I was like, oh. It's not. This is kind of weird.
To be fair,
it has a lot of.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no! I was just saying it had a lot of their music had like 80s elements to them.
Yeah,
like totally.
And like it kept going. Like you could even hear some of that in like 90s VK and stuff like that. But like I was saying, to be fair, they never had obviously Nirvana was big there as well, but they never had the Nirvana moment. You know, like it's like talking about any 80s metal band. It's like Nirvana killed my career. Nirvana killed my career. Like if you ever watch behind the music on Poison, on fucking shit, all the bands like Skid Row. I can't think of all the other bands. You know, those Rat. If you ever watch a behind the music or some sort of documentary on them, they all have the same story beat. That when 1991 or whatever hit or whatever, Nevermind drops the album
came out.
Yes, it is like Nirvana killed my career. Nirvana killed my career. That's like everyone will say that. And Japan never really had the Nirvana moment, or to be more accurate, Nirvana just joined in the music scene. It didn't replace it. But yeah, so a key term to toss around there is Okesho-K, which is makeup K.
Oh, Okesho-K.
But
a lot of K's, dude.
Yeah,
there's so many.
I don't think we've ever made this joke, but I'm starting to realize the K thing, as in the genres. By the way, K means style. The K thing is very much like all the stupid genres we have in the US, like the metal genres.
They're like it gets pretty bad. It gets.
Yeah.
At first I was like, loud K, what the fuck is that? I was like, it just sounds like something else. Can we just call it like
yeah.
Like, does it have to be that?
No, I've heard loud K, I've heard soft K, I've heard like, you know, just everything. And it reminds me of like, oh, this is post grindcore, like melodic death metal. And I'm like, that's too many words. But yeah.
Can we just keep it somewhere? Like, we can have branches, but we only have like 2 branches. Like, you know, a branch of one genre probably like 2 or 3 times. I'm cool.
and right there's a picture of Hanoi Rocks, and very influential band in general. They're an awesome band if you ever listen to them, and you'll see that a lot of the bands we talk about have a very similar look to them. And then
a lot of them, and it's interesting too because the looks. It's funny because like most people don't know, like from the visually when you look at bands, some of them look like hair bands, but they don't play hair band. They don't play hair metal at all.
Talking about metal versus visual K, this is actually a very interesting point. Now, before we even talk about like the genre differences, one of the craziest things, and I'll admit I'm part of the problem. If you ever come to the VK panel, we always talk about like, oh, all these VK bands in the 80s, but technically they didn't exist because the term VK wasn't invented until 1992, when it was describing X Japan and bands like them, because X Japan released an album called Blue Blood. I believe it was their slogan before, but when they released Blue Blood, I think that was 91 actually, but the 92 is when they had it in a magazine. But Blue Blood has a thing on there. It's like psychedelic crime of visual shock, and that became the term visual K. And whenever you hear somebody talk about like 80s Bucktick or like Durlanger or like Color or so on, technically those are more like being retroactively called visual K. Like, you know,
Yep.
like they weren't called that when they were doing. Well, I mean, some of them continued to the 90s, of course, but they weren't called that before. It just kind of got pushed back, so to speak.
Because they just started to fall under that umbrella,
Exactly.
and because of the comings and goings of Extra Pan, and you know, all the bands that they were kind of like friends with and touched with, eventually everyone's just like, yeah, visual K. Well, okay, continue. Let's get into
it. Let's get into it, and let's actually talk about some bands. Also, real fast before we say there is that about VKs, there's a lot of subgenres similar to every other main genre. So come to our VK panel for that later on, our VK podcast panel. So let's talk about the Japanese metal pioneers. Now, the first one we're going to talk about is Bow Wow.
Bow Wow / Bow Wow. So basically, they're like it's interesting because they started in '75. So I was like, oh man, that's really early. That's super early. But when they started, when they started as Bow Wow, there's a reason why they changed it to Bow Wow. Is they were more of like a, I guess, almost kind of like a Judas Priest kind of band, and it was more like, you know, edged out, speedier, and a little bit more wild too. Because at the time, Kyoji, the lead guitar player, which you can probably see to the left, he's the guy standing on the ladder. He was actually their guitarist and vocalist, and the vocals weren't that great, but the energy and the power was there. And then eventually, they decided to go into a more commercial route in the '80s, and they hired on an actual singer, and then their sound changed from actually being like heavy metal to more of like a little bit more pop and more commercial sound. And I like both of them. And not only that, we also got what's the bassist's name from Whitesnake?
Oh, they have Neil Murray. I don't think I have it written there. They have Neil Murray from he's from Whitesnake's like classic lineup. He recorded he recorded on their first major hit album, including 1987, which is the one that has Here I Go Again and so on. He was also in Black Sabbath. He actually, if I'm not mistaken, he left Bow Wow. Sorry, he left Bow Wow for Black Sabbath. The Aussie list Black Sabbath though, when they had Tony Martin on vocals, like the period of Black Sabbath no one ever talks about. But yeah, in like 1990 or 1991, he joined Black Sabbath. But yeah, in between Whitesnake and Black Sabbath, he was in a Japanese band called Bow Wow. And let's actually play some of their music.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I remember watching this particular video, and I was like, "Who's that white guy?"
So the way this is gonna,
Neil Murray.
Hold on, let me actually control this volume a little. The way this is gonna play, okay, yeah, it's actually fine. Is that, and the way this is gonna work is that you're gonna hear an older song, and this is what's his name? This is with the guitarist, the one that
This is Kyoji.
Yeah. The one who was like chilling on the ladder in that the Bow Wow picture. He's singing here. Let me know if I don't want to play it too loud because I don't want to get too claimed. I don't want to get too easily claimed. I will try to find all these videos again and have them all linked if you want to watch the full performances. We're just watching little clips.
Oh yeah, we should do that, huh?
Yeah, I'll try. Because well, it'll probably won't be that hard. It just take me a while. And then
you just have to find it all.
There was a lot of complaints that I cut a lot of guitar solos out at ALA. Oh, and this is Bow Wow. Now, real talk though, he kind of has like don't know if I said that before, but he kind of has like a sort of Bon Scotty sounding voice.
He kind of does.
So like, if Bon Scott like sung for like a glam metal band and not AC/DC, Rip Bon Scott.
He moved to Japan.
Yeah.
He's not dead.
Bon Scott, yeah.
He's alive. He's this man right here.
Exactly.
Yellow faces.
And of course they have a keyboardist with like 18 rows of keyboards. That's how you can really tell that we're in the 80s here. So I was gonna play again.
Oh yeah, and I also forgot to say that, like, because in Bow Wow, yes, I see right here that their previous guitarist left, which kept, and that's why. And then when they formed Bow Wow, that's when Kyoji just went to guitars, like primarily lead and lead and rhythm. But that's why they're like, was it 4-piece there? 4 or 5-piece? Oh no.
Sorry, I was reading I was reading in the chat about I saw the long comment earlier, but I wanted to play the video before I read it. But it's I want VK to be the first genre to have robotic band members. That would be interesting. I don't know if I don't know how viable that would be, but maybe Bucktick will do that in the future. Or maybe Yoshiki will do that once he decides he's not gonna play drums anymore. He'll just get a robot.
Dead. Oh, you know, I forgot about Dead.
No, they were in the panel at one point. I actually don't know. Are they still in it? Because I know for a fact they were in it.
I don't think we have them.
But I know for a fact they were in the. Yes, I know for a fact they were.
The previous iterations of the panel.
I think we always skip them. Another band I'm talking about real fast is Earthshaker.
Oof.
I never noticed this, but look how like upperly stockily built the one on the left is. I'm not sure who's who in this band, I'll be honest. But
he looked like that's the drummer right there. You know, that's the body of the drummer.
He has that mad upper strength.
You see his trunk. This boy is thick. This is before thick was thick.
And it's funny because there's a whole topic that I don't really want to get into. And to be honest, I'm not too versed in it. But similar to like East Coast, West Coast rappers, there's actually a really big thing in metal, in Japanese metal, with like Osaka and Tokyo. Yeah, Kanto and Kansai based bands, and not like they hate each other, but more like there's like a almost rivalry, and there is like a sound difference, kinda.
Yeah, you know, when we were adding in more bands yesterday, I realized, I was like, oh shit, like there's a lot of Tokyo bands, like a lot of influential Tokyo bands. For some weird fucking reason.
Hold on.
You know what I mean?
I'm trying to. Okay, keep talking. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to ask because Danny's in the chat, like a friend. When he was in the chat saying Danny, and I'm trying to ask him if he notices a sound issue. Maybe he could explain it a little better.
At first, I was just waiting. I was like, "Are we?"
No. I was just trying to read that. But yeah. Marshi Nishida on vocals, Shari Shihara, Takayuki Kai, that's Yoshihiro Kudo, that's probably the really tall guy, really stocky guy in the back. The lineup never changed, but they broke up in 1994 and they reunite in 1999. Now we're gonna talk we actually kind of glance over that, but there's a lot of reunions. Almost all these bands are back again. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of reunions, bro. Mm-hmm. Like even with the further we go in, you like, it's just like, oh god, so many, like, they break up and come back.
Yep.
They never die. They just wait. They just wait until the VK wave died. They're just like, okay, I'm alive.
So let's watch this Earthshaker video, which is called Tokyo. Let me get this set up. I apologize for the odd way of having to do this, but it's the only way I can figure it out. That where Warren can watch it with me in live time. Not so much that.
Yeah, I mean, like it's okay. Like I think it's pretty. If only we could split it like 4 ways and have it like right there at the bottom.
I wish there was a way that I could have Well, I could
Like,
do.
split your
I could still
screen?
do that. I could still do that. The issue is that if I did that, you wouldn't see it live.
Oh yeah, that's true, huh? That means I can't react to it live.
Yeah. Oh, why am I playing Your Mind again? Oh, I opened up two different
No, you have
versions. No, I opened up two different versions of VLC player. There it goes. Put this down a little. So this is Earthshaker with Tokyo. I think also this is my name under the video because that's me. That's me, Manuel, singing right there. For those who just tuned in right now.
That's Manuel right here.
Yep. The really skinny guy with a nice butt. But hey, no.
And that nice crop top.
I know.
And he has some good moves.
He does. And once again, I wanted to reiterate that even in some of these big names, Earthshaker is huge, but a lot of people don't. They're definitely not as big as Loudness as far as in the West is concerned.
But in Japan, they're fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like, these guys are selling out arenas.
Oh yeah. Well, look at the size of this concert, obviously. So yeah. But yeah, everyone at ALA kept being like, "It was a great panel, guys, but you guys need to stop cutting out the solos." The video's gonna like fade here. Actually, no, it keeps going. What the hell? We'll stop there anyway. I just noticed this video technically keeps going. Let me go back to my camera. Where's my camera? But yeah, that's Earthshaker for you guys. So let's move on to Anthem.
Let's go. That is actually my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of teeter totters for me, but they're actually my favorite. Them and Loudness kind of teeter tots a little bit.
Well,
but
even as far as like influentialness, like their influence on the scene, how big they are, like not commercial, but like in Japan as far as like known as metal pioneers, it's Anthem and Loudness. It's kind of like the Rolling Stones and Beatles of like Japanese metal. It's like, which do you like? Which do you prefer? God, that reference really dated me. Anyways, go on.
Like saying that, so Loudness was like a really big like factor of getting me into like Japanese metal. Because my dad, it's funny because my dad is the one he was the one that introduced me to all this. Actually, he didn't introduce me. I was just like, hey Dad, let me get some of your music. And then Anthem was, so I told him to throw Anthem and Loudness and Earthshaker into like one, at the time, guys, onto a DVD, on a CD, okay?
A CD mixtape.
Like on a but as an MP3, so I could like put it into my then a disc drive and listen to it. But Anthem, basically, I put them on the Mount Rushmore of Japanese J metal, the Mount Rushmore. There's because aside from all that, their bass player. Naoto Shibata is actually their leader.
Yeah.
It started in about 1980, and the lineup was totally different. But it wasn't until like 3 years later in '83 when they actually got like their actual classic lineup with their guitarist Hiroya, which is he's present in I think the first few years. The first few years of the band. And then also the singer is also is Eizo Sakamoto, which most people, if you guys don't know who he is actually the singer for Animetal.
Yeah, and he it's funny you mentioned that because I feel like we didn't mention that at any of our panels. But yeah, he's a singer for Animetal. He also was he not also the singer for Loudness, or am I thinking of someone else?
No,
not like during obviously their big period. Who was the second? Oh no, that's the guy from Flatbacker. Sorry, never mind. Ignore what I just said. Ignore what I said.
We'll get to it. Get to that.
Ignore what I said about the singer for Loudness, because Loudness doesn't have other singers. But yeah, Eizo is the vocalist for Animetal, and we should probably bring Animetal to the panel one of these days. They're pretty awesome, but they're a little off topic. But on a similar note, if anyone's a fan of like 80s JRP, by the way, I pulled down my mask. Hopefully that gets rid of some audio issues. See, I'm risking the Rona for you guys. If if anyone's a fan of Japanese RPGs, there's a series called Xanadu, the Dragon Slayer series. If anyone's there's like new versions of it. I think there's kind of like Xanadu Next, and there's also like Xanadu EX Plus, which is like in Tokyo, modern day Tokyo, and those are like new releases on Steam or PS4 or whatever. Now this is one of the first games in the series, and they did the song Xanadu, which is from the game. And obviously this is like a PC game, like a 80s PC game, so it didn't actually have like, you know, I don't think it had like the full sound. It was like a MIDI version, but I do think that later re-releases of it, and there in the soundtrack CD, it was the actual song.
Yeah, and not only that, like, see, like, when we're talking, like, they also did the Xanadu, right? And then they're also doing, there's a soundtrack for Devilman. I forgot which Devilman it was. But they actually had their songs on the Devilman soundtrack.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. It's funny
because... song called "The Show Must Go On." That song's fucking...
Oh, you're right. And one of my favorite versions of the Devilman theme song is the version that ANTHEM did. So it's... which I think kind of uses the Smooth Criminal riff, because like ANTHEM, for those who don't know, ANTHEM they like to like borrow riffs from like, because they've stolen like the Burn riff and like Trooper and so on. But I think that their version of the Devilman theme song has the Michael Jackson Smooth Criminal riff in there. Like, yeah. But so yeah, there's a lot of Devilman. You should listen to ANTHEM. Speaking of listening to ANTHEM, what song is the song we're gonna hear here?
This one is Bound to Break. But before we show it, so they actually had, well, in the 80s they had two singers. So Eizo actually left after the first record, and then I think when Eizo left, they brought in Yukio, which is their current singer right now, and that guy. So this is Yukio's version of Bound to Break, which is, I mean, Bound to Break is still Bound to Break, but there's like a significant vocal difference between the two. And if you guys ever just decide to listen to it, which I would fucking recommend, because they're really, really consistent. I think they're more consistent than Loudness.
Oh, for sure, especially album to album and so on.
Yeah, so this is Bound to Break. This is actually one of my favorite songs. So.
Yeah, fun fact, like some of our video choices, we couldn't find like some of our dream choices, and I think we were looking for an older version of Anthem to show, but it doesn't really exist where we could find it easily.
Yeah, the quality was so shit.
Yeah, if anyone, speaking of which, if anyone has any other suggestions on like clips to use, feel free to toss them at us. Either in a message, I probably won't see in the Twitch chat right here, but if you could toss it there as well, or in a YouTube comment if you're watching this on YouTube. But let's get that little thing going. Where is there it is. Anthem. Let me pull this up. Sorry, like there's so many like mouse like clicky thingies in my window. Here it goes. And now we're getting a little heavier because I feel like the first couple songs were a little well, I guess that the first version of Bow Wow
commercial.
Yeah, but now we're starting to get there, guys. Don't worry.
We're actually getting that actual heavy metal like sound.
I know some of you are probably worried a little there. It's like, I don't know, man. Just look at a little.
Midnight.
Yep.
Midnight Avenger.
It's a great song. Everyone needs to listen to Anthem. I wish they came to the US more. I mean, obviously no one's coming right now, but I mean, like, but Loudness comes, or Loudness came fairly often. It felt like, but Anthem, I don't think. I mean, they have come, but I've never seen them like, whenever I was going anywhere.
Yeah, like. Oh, hold up. Are we gonna? Do you want to wrap it up, or are we gonna?
Yeah, let's
continue listening to it?
Well, let's wrap this guitar solo. I'm gonna cut.
This is a solo.
I don't know why. I love that bass. It's not even a very special bass. I like that it matches the guitar because it's the same blue color. I wonder if
Yeah, this thematic. Oh, and look at that mockingbird. Oh,
I know.
that guitar, is sexy. The shape is weird. Like a lot of. No, I don't know, man. It's so pretty.
I wonder if they. Oops. I wonder if they sync the guitar colors on purpose like that.
I'm pretty sure. That's a pretty. Was it blue? It looked kind of like a little like blue and like a little. What was it? Like velvet? No, not velvet. No, not velvet. Like purple.
Yeah, I can't really tell.
Like,
the video quality wasn't the best, and I'm watching it through like 3 different I'm watching it through the bad monitor. I have a cheaper monitor that uses my second screen, where the color's a little off. Like I keep trying to fix it, but anyway, it's another story. But yeah, Anthem. Anything else you want to say about Anthem?
Yeah, so check them out. Their first, actually, a lot of all the records are pretty fucking good. To me, one of the bands that I'd recommend. Even now, you go on YouTube and search up Wild Anthem, which is part of one of their first songs on their first record. They're live of them playing at I think they're 50 now. Ooh. Oh my god, that shit is so fucking good. So fucking good. For being old men.
Well, old men can still rock.
That's true. They still got the power. They're like, ugh.
So let's
gotta muster up all my youth.
Let's talk about Loudness.
Let's go. Did you want to rock with it, or do you want me to rock with it?
Well, I'll take the easy part. You could fill in some of the holes. So Loudness, first and foremost, like we already mentioned, them and Anthem are definitely like the big two. Loudness is probably the biggest one. We mentioned at the very top of this podcast, I don't know if anyone was really tuning in yet, but we talked about when they had Mike Viscera on vocals, who was their American vocalist. But before him, before he was even there, it's funny because they did that to try to break into the U.S. market, but they'd already done it. The name of this panel is Thunder in the East, and that title is taken from their iconic album, which I think was their fourth. Their iconic album.
You actually have 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, their fifth.
Oh wow! I was
fifth
because I do know it was quite in there.
Actually, dude, it's their sixth. I'm sorry.
Shit! I feel like I knew. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Part of me wanted to say 6. I'm like, it can't be that far into there though. But shit. But that album actually broke. That album was released in the U.S. It did really well here, and they got a lot of MTV playback in the day. Obviously, it was before my time, but they were known. They have the music video that we're going to show later on, of course, is from the Crazy Nights, which is like their biggest song. We'll talk more about them, but my point is that you'll notice in the clip it's from VH1 Classic, and that's the one that's on YouTube. So yeah, that's actually where I first saw them too, was on VH1 Classic during like one of those hour-long metal blocks they used to have of just music videos, like old music videos. That's when I first saw Loudness. But
when MTV actually played music, what?
But let's talk about Akira Takasaki, who is the mastermind behind this group and the guitar virtuoso.
The driving force of Loudness. Actually, him and Munetake Higuchi, which is their drummer, they're actually in a previous band called Lazy. They're like a hard rock.
And Lazy was the band that Hironobu, what's his name? The guy from Jam Project was in. Remember?
Oh yeah,
He was the vocalist for Lazy.
And it's kind of interesting to see. You guys will start to see that bits and pieces of the scene. Everyone was borrowing everything.
Exactly, and it actually gets much crazier later on. But but you see it even in these bigger bands.
What's up?
Oh no, go ahead.
Sorry.
I was going to talk about some of the Loudness people who've come in and out. They had a certain famous bassist in their lineup.
They had a certain famous bassist and a certain famous singer. But before that, actually, Akira Takasaki is actually so. Loudness started in '81, and you could kind of see. I think they released albums almost every year that they were out. That's why it took them to their sixth album to actually break through. A lot of people don't know, actually sixth technically, but it's actually their fifth because they had the previous record Disillusion. They had the Japanese version and the English version. And it wasn't until like Thunder in the East that really broke him out. But he's like Akira Tagasaki is known as like the grandfather of metal guitarists from Japan, like entirely. He's basically people call him like Japanese Van Halen.
Yeah.
And everybody from like fucking Paul Gilbert to fucking Dave Mustaine all list him as as inspiration to play. And he's fucking incredible. He's fucking incredible. Even for his age right now. I saw him play like in 2016. Oh my god, that man. He's a god.
Yeah. I think I saw them that year as well. That was the year they were doing the 25th anniversary or whatever anniversary, 30th, whatever anniversary it was.
Yeah, it was the 30th anniversary of Thunder in the East. I have the shirt.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I have the shirt like hanging out back there. And oh my god, that shirt. That show was so good. And I got to touch his guitar, and I was just like, I'm touching God.
I remember, unfortunately, Munetake Higuchi passed away in 2008, but they have a new drummer. The original lineup reformed. That's the lineup that's still performing to this day. But the new drummer is really cool too, and I gotta like talk to him a bit in broken Japanese and broken English together before the concert I went to. I assume you went somewhere else. I was at the Whiskey.
I was in San Jose.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure we were at two completely different locations, but yeah, I saw them live at the Whiskey. And that was a really fun show. They were awesome, and they did the whole album. So I got to hear all that shit. Unfortunately, Soldier of Fortune is not in their playlist anymore. I mean, their set list.
And not only that, the singing that song is hard.
Oh yeah,
I've seen them do it live. Just even before this, I think only Mike Becerra could do it. I'm sorry. And even his vocals right now are kind of shot too.
Oh yeah.
Not taking anything away from him, but the vocals for Soldier of Fortune, ugh.
So
I've seen other people try to do it, and when they did a live with Loudness, I was like, maybe not.
There's so much to say about Loudness. So we mentioned how Mike Becerra took over on vocals in 1989, I want to say. He did 2 albums, and I think a live album with them. And then in 92 or 91 or something, he left, and they brought in the vocalist from Flatbacker, who was a band we'll talk about later. Actually, they were EZO by that point, but they brought in the vocalist from EZO. And they brought in the bassist, Taiji, from X-Japan. And he was there for a good album, or he was there for the album and the tour, just one album. I think
it was just for that first album, their self-titled album in '92, which is
a great album, by the way.
It's a fucking hell. It's a fucking great. It's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, my three favorite. Huh?
What's up?
No, go ahead.
I don't know what were you saying. Oh, no, I was just saying, like, if you guys, when people think about power bands, you have like one kick-ass drummer, you have fucking legendary guitarists, you have fucking good-ass fucking bassist, Taiji Sawada, rest in peace. I love that man. And then Misaki, which is Misaki is the singer of EZO / Flatbacker, and that was kind of like the little power band, and that record was fucking nice.
Yeah, like Warren mentioned, they've been releasing albums, like, even to this day. I'm pretty sure they had a new album out last year, actually. 2018 for sure. They had a new album out. And my 3 favorite albums from theirs are definitely, though, is, of course, I love Thunder in the East. My favorite is Soldier of Fortune, but Loudness is the self-titled one is right up there. Those are my 3 favorite albums. And I love a lot of the other songs, but those 3 albums I could listen to, like, non-stop, like, back-to-back. Then after that, they continue with a similar lineup until like the late 90s, and that's when the original lineup reformed until Munetaka's.
I think it was like 2000. I think in 2000 they brought back. Yeah, 2000. That's when they got the classic lineup back up.
Minoru Nihara, but yeah.
Then Masaki got kicked out. Boot. He got the boot. He got yeeted.
So we're gonna watch a bit of Crazy Nights. Now, fun fact, the chorus has a part where they just pretty much say MZA over and over again. And It means nothing.
Like,
But one of the funny things that people like to say, and I think somebody said in an interview, and then Warren always repeats it all the time, it's a running joke in the panel, is that MZA stands for, you can tell them what it stands for.
My zebra ass.
Yep, MZA is my zebra ass, which is funny because one of the members of the band, I can't remember who it is without watching the video, is actually wearing like a zebra print like tights. So
yeah, so it works.
So yeah, it definitely works here. You see, look, there's the VH1 Classic logo right there. But let's see. Okay, let me put this down. Let me put this one a little down because this is definitely this copyright claimed. But like I said, though, this is up on YouTube already. So see, look, he's actually with zebra print like pants. Looks like zebra print everything.
You make me had him.
But yeah, when the Rona finally dies down, there's a pretty good chance you can find this band live at a city near you, hopefully. Like I said, they do tour the U.S., or they did tour the U.S. a lot. And because they had mainstream success before, they have the pleasure of just doing like their own tours without like, you know.
Yeah, I don't remember them having a headliner, or not headliner, like an opener. They just fucking played. It was just loud.
There's the MZA, yeah.
My zebra ass.
And they even showed him like his zebra print thing.
Yeah, right.
But yeah.
Yeah, the funny thing too is this song. So I like this. Like, so when my dad introduced me to Loudness, I liked them. I still love them so much. But that used to be my ringtone whenever I called them.
Oh my god! Like, remember cell phone ringtones? I was thinking about that the other day. It's like my phone's been on silent for like 10 years, and like I remember.
Oh yeah, your past, huh?
And I remember when like you would be like the educated who would like when you're recording your voicemail thing, your voicemail like message, I would just put a song. I like hold my phone against like a speaker, and like when I was like in high school, I'm like, oh god, that was stupid.
Everyone's just. But yeah, it's pretty funny. But now my song is Cemetery Gates by Pantera. Whenever I call my dad.
Oh man. Fun fact, I think my ringtone is still like the if anyone's ever played Phoenix Wright, there's his actual ringtone in the game is a song from this in-game show called Still Samurai, and that's my ringtone is the Phoenix Wright ringtone. But it's never on.
Mine's just the default ass fucking Samsung ringtone.
Now we have some other
huh? Oh no.
Like,
no. Actually, my ringtone is not that. I totally forgot. It's actually Angel Salvation by Gunners, which is another fucking great metal band. Not from the 80s.
Yeah, and they're more power metal too. Now, that's a whole different can of worms we can cover in a future panel.
Actually, but yeah, let's get it. What's our next one?
We're talking about Blizzard. We're gonna breeze through. We always breeze through them. We're gonna go through this one kind of fast though, because honestly, I don't know too much about them. But what's really interesting is how I found out about them. Is that they're one of those bands where a lot of the members went off to other bands, and I could list them forever, but the one that's most important, quote unquote, is Toshiya Matsukawa, who would play guitar for both Hide when Hide was solo, like in his first two albums, and then when Hide was Spread Beaver, which is the band he put together right before his death, and released that last album with. So it's pretty interesting to note that like that's like where he came from, that guitarist. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, they broke up in 1992. I think one of the reasons they broke up was because he was joining Hide's band, and he was one of the main members of Blizzard. So we're just gonna watch a quick little clip of theirs.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he actually there's another member from
Well, there's a lot.
Wow.
Hide's band also had Kaz. Oh shit! I'm like bit my mask. Also has Kaz, Well, he did with Spread Beaver. I don't think it was a he did solo band. He did with Spread Beaver also had Kaz, who would later on be in Vamps with Hyde, and that's funny because for those who don't know who Hide is, he's the guitarist for X Japan. We'll talk about him way later on, but Hide is spelled Hyde, like in English Hide. So when I was younger, you would hear a lot of people like not know that. I'm not gonna lie, I was one of them too. But a lot of people didn't know that, so they would call Hyde, or they would call Hyde. Oh, shit, I'm confusing myself. They would call Hide Hyde because if you didn't know how to pronounce it, that's the way you would say it. But the singer for Larkin Seal, who also was solo and also in a band called Vamps, his name is Hyde, spelled Hyde. And so people were, I remember back in my early 2000s, like VK days, people were so confused by this. I kind of was, but I figured it out myself pretty quickly. I still didn't know how to call Hide. I still called him Hyde as well. But you know how many times I would see in the MySpace days where people were like, "Oh, rip Hide," like Hide, and they would show a picture of Hyde, like Larkin Seal Hyde, and I'd be like, "What the fuck? You're fucking up."
Bro, there's another one about Taiji, and this one guy's like, rest in peace, Taiji, and I was like, that's Heath, bro. Like, you got the wrong dude.
Oh man, people can be stupid sometimes. But like I said, if you want to get more confused with the whole Hide Hyde thing, just remember that Hide's guitarist from Hide with Spread Beaver, Kaz, is Hyde's guitarist in Vamps. I think Vamps broke up though, so we don't have to worry about that as much anymore. But still, just want to confuse everyone a bit.
Yeah, well, like, I think there's another. We'll just continue.
We'll continue because we can actually go on forever talking about band members who are in other bands. So let's show Blizzard, and I actually like their sound. I do like their music. I actually
yeah, their sound's fucking great, dude.
Yeah, and I actually have a lot of their. I actually own a lot of their vinyl, like on accident.
Yeah, like, it's Japanese. It's cool. Get it.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know if the LOL is the whole Hide thing because I think that's the part that we're on there. But I'm not gonna lie, I confused the fuck out of myself. As I was saying it, I was just like. But yeah, they also, I glanced over it, but they also were really big in their day. Unfortunately, like, they're kind of like, what's a good example? Kind of like Rat, kind of like White Lion, where they were big in their day, and people know of them, but their fame never really quite, like, they were just one of those bands that were big, and they kind of just stayed big in their day, and that's it. Like I said, their big claim to fame is that, they have a member who ended up playing with Hide.
Like, it's pretty.
That loser in the front who was not moving. Like, I think he was next to his girlfriend. The girlfriend was like doing this, but he was just like, "Nah, man, I'm cool."
He's like, "Nah, bro.
I'm too cool for this." And yes, it's him who was the one who was in Hide's band, not the other one with the flying V who's like playing rhythm, I guess. But yeah. Oh man, that was a really quick cut. Why didn't they even cut to him? That kind of tripped me out. They did it again. They keep cutting to like that to the basses for like a second. See, that girl looked really happy to be there. I think that was the same girl I was talking about earlier. Who looked, she's there with her boyfriend. The boyfriend's like, "Nah, man." He's probably pissed. He's probably like, "Man, she's cheer like this for me." She's
checking other dudes out.
So now we're talking a bit about Flatbacker. Now I love their name. Okay, see, this is the way the font's supposed to look. Okay, everyone, look. You see this font? That's the way the font's supposed to look. In Blizzard too. Why is Loudness like this, but then Blizzard and Flat? What happened? I just noticed that right now. Like the font.
It was lost in translation.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. But the whole panel supposed to look like this. So that's why the font looked a little like wonky and the other. I don't know what happened. Anyway.
It's supposed to look edgy.
Yeah,
it's
supposed to look edgy with chalk. This is a chalkboard background, by the way, guys. But But yeah, they're formed in '82.
Leslie says the volume's low.
Hmm?
Leslie said the volume's pretty low.
To the podcast or the music? Because for those watching right now, I mentioned I kept the music a little low because I don't want to get copyright claimed too easily.
Leslie's just deaf, that's all.
Yeah, if it's the podcast, I can fix that. But and I think I will play the music a little louder. Like I feel like I could barely hear it at times too, and I'm listening to it. But I mean, I'm listening to it like at my own earphone volume. But yeah, I keep the music down because I don't want to. I don't want to tempt the copyright YouTube gods too much. But Flatbacker recorded 2 albums, which I actually had got a chance to finally listen to. I kept telling Warren like I never actually heard the whole albums. But I found a site that, I mean, not that I recommend doing this, but I found a site that had them, and I downloaded them and listened to them. I don't know why I said that. I shouldn't have said how I got them, but there you go. Oof. I do own Blizzards. I did buy those officially, like on vinyl though, and I downloaded rips of CDs. But I do own those on vinyl. But anyways, Flatback. I finally heard them. I believe that picture there is from their Flatbacker days. But do you care to talk more about them before we go into about their EZO change?
Let's go. So Flatbacker actually they started off as a heavy metal / speed metal band before actually getting their name changed. Their sound actually they even had some bits of like punk with it too. Mm-hmm. Especially because Misaki's his voice is there's like an extreme difference of what he did vocally in Flatbacker versus EZO, even though they're the same band.
Yeah.
They no one changed. It's just their name. Not only that, their drummer, we call him Hiro. He actually later on becomes the drummer for Anthem for a long time.
Oh shit! I didn't even know that. No.
Yeah, he was their drummer. I think he was also in. Yeah. He was also in Saber Tiger, not Saber Tiger, Saber Tiger. But he also played for Loudness because I think. When he played for Loudness when Munetake Higuchi left.
Yeah.
And then it was him. So basically, it was just the 2 guys. Basically, we had the 2 guys from EZO playing in Loudness.
Yeah.
And then he after they did the classic lineup, when Loudness brought back the classic lineup with Munetake Higuchi, Hiro left and then joined Anthem.
Oh shit! I actually didn't know he was an Anthem. I don't really keep up too much with Anthem, to be totally honest, with their more recent activities, so that would make sense.
It's okay, but he's retired. Hiro is actually retired.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his knees were blown.
Oh shit! But yeah, they were named EZO, which also means nothing, by the way. They were named EZO by Gene Simmons of Kiss because I think he even joked that like he didn't know what Flatbacker means, and I don't know what that means either. Somebody told me something to do with a truck. I don't know if you knew that. I forgot who I was talking to, but somebody's like, I think it's a trucking reference. Like I'm not a trucker, so I don't know.
Because I always thought that it was just a I hit him flat, her music's so good, lay him flat on her back, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess. But for real, like, what the fuck is a flatbacker? Like, what the fuck is that?
What is a
what's up?
What is a flatbacker?
Let's go.
I think. Does anyone else think the volume's low? Leslie says it's low, but I think she's tripping. No offense, but I mean, like, we're definitely at the same levels we always are, and actually, everyone's turned up almost as loud as I can make them. Like, you're turned up loud in Discord, and you're turned up the same level as me on XSplit. So I don't know. Are you hearing the clicky hiss thingy that everyone else is? But let's actually listen to House of a shit. Okay, House of a Thousand Pleasures, which I mentioned before. That's probably actually I mentioned this before. That it's one of the more popular songs, I think, more well-known ones. Mainly because it got covered a couple times in by some other '80s bands, American ones. And I mentioned this a lot. If you've ever been to a panel. when I went to go see Loudness, the reason I was actually there, like I was there also to see Loudness, but the reason I was actually at that concert was because I was covering another band called Salem's Lot, who was also playing at the Whiskey, and Salem's Lot is like this American. I think they're like LA based to Hollywood based band that's sort of a visual kei band, and like they're really good and they have a really good sound, and they covered House of Thousand Pleasures live, and that was part of the set list for most of the early days. You should go check them out too. They're kind of out of the scope of this panel though, so we're not gonna go too much more than that. But let's hear this. And real fast before you say that, this is actually the flatbacker version of House of a Thousand Pleasures. So
it's actually we have to edit this one for this panel for the next time. We should edit the title because the flatbacker song is actually called Death Wish.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too because it does have a different title exactly. And but this was a song that would eventually morph into House of a Thousand Pleasures.
Which is like the sound is so different too.
Yeah, and structurally, there's a hell of a lot of changes in it. Sorry,
like,
my mind blinked in it when I was doing.
You know, maybe we should also do like a little bit compare contrast.
The problem with that is that I couldn't really find any easy videos.
There's no lives.
Yeah.
There's no lives for House of Thousand Pleasures.
Once again, bear with like the 240p quality, the pixelization of the video. It probably doesn't look that bad in a tiny square, but it looks bad to me on my bigger monitor here. But yeah, as you can see, like a bit of the punky influence, and not only the way that the way they're kind of dressed, but like the stylings of the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, his vocal delivery here is like it's so significantly different than in EZO, and actually this whole structure is like.
Yeah, this is not House of Thousand Pleasures technically, but yeah.
The House of Thousand Pleasures, the beginning intro riff is actually played throughout the whole entire part of the song, and then after this song, they goes that's actually the outro to House of Thousand Pleasures instead. So like you literally only got the two pieces of red, and then all the meat in between are different.
Exactly.
It's totally different in both songs. But that riff is so fucking good. So fucking catchy. Dun, dun, dun.
But yeah, this is a great song. Everyone should go. Like, and also, we didn't mention this. They have a pretty small musical output. They only have 2 EZO albums, and then they have 2 Flatbacker and then 2 EZO. So I warn you, it's not that hard to find, but it did take me a little time to find the EZO albums. I mean, I'm saying that wrong. The Flatbacker albums.
Yeah, you know the funny thing is because I think I've said this so many times that I've had the novels given to you.
I know. Because I forgot which panel. I think I might have already heard them by the time ALA came around. But yeah, in the early days of the panel, I kept like, I never heard the EZO albums. But yeah, I've heard them since. Oh, Sekima too.
Yeah, like Sekimatsu.
Sorry, I skip ahead a little.
Yeah,
Sekima too. They're wacky.
They are one of the greatest bands of all time.
A lot of people call them like the Japanese Kiss, which I think is kind of an unfair comparison. Because
that's super unfair.
Because Kiss doesn't have this kind of these kind of personas. I don't even have personas. Like sure, people are like, oh, the Starman, the Demon, but they don't really have personas. They're just still Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, and so on. But yeah, tell us a bit about Demon Kogure.
That man, he is like going back to it. So it'd be a disservice to call them like the Kiss of Japan because they're a little bit. They're actually a lot more gnarly. Kiss is still tight, all right. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
But Demon Kagura is actually, I think he has more parallels to being like more of like the King Diamond.
That's a much better comparison.
Because he actually plays his role. Like he literally is like the well, he's Demon Kaka right now. But
I know. Yeah, like mind you that means something else in Japanese. I have it written down there at the bottom. He's Demon Kaka right now, but it sounds hilarious saying it in English. Yeah, he's Kaka.
So, but he literally is like basically the king of hell, and their whole entire persona was for them to basically like be demons and try to take the world over with heavy metal, and like. And it sounds a little far-fetched, right? But when they're like you never see him without his makeup. You see everybody else, but he's never without his makeup. He does interviews in his makeup. Like he's just chilling at home, and he plays the persona like so well, and it's a gimmick that he's run on, which is a huge like it's a huge buy-in, and he's just one of like he's actually beyond just like a singer. He's like a whole like he's just basically like he's literally an enigma, and there's just something like about him. Like he has like his charisma even on stage, like and he does like a whole bunch of other things besides the music. I think he's also like a sumo commentator.
Yeah. Keep talking. I'm gonna go grab something really cool. Keep talking about the band though.
But the band actually, the funny thing is that my first impression of them was totally on accident. I was on YouTube one day and I was looking up at like weird Japanese game. You know that Japan has like these really weird game shows or like reality shows, and it so happened to be that. There was this one where celebrities would take the persona of like a singer, and they sing a song, and then later the actual person that performs the song will come out, and I was just like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And the song they played was called a House of Wax. I cannot say it in Japanese because I just don't know how to, but it's called House of Wax. What's up?
Did you talk about the video game? Not to interrupt. Do you want to talk about the video game real fast?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Because I actually have it.
There you go. Oh.
I own it. It's a box copy too. This is the Sekime 2 have a video game for the FanimeCon, and I actually own a box copy. It's funny because I mention this in the panels all the time, that I own it, and I'm like. Now that I'm doing this at home, I'm like, let me go get it. And I know
everyone's like, where's the receipts? We need the receipts.
And look, it's brand fucking new. It's like in the plastic and everything. Oh shit! I almost.
God, that is so cool.
But yeah, I was gonna show this off. It comes with a sticker of the band. Well, of the band. See if you can see. That's Demon.
Oh,
it's blurry as fuck. But yeah.
His hair is so short then.
I know, he looks so different. Like, to be fair, he does look like that in the picture that we have for him. But yeah, that's within the era. That's like
now his
pixel version.
Their pixel art.
But yeah, I just wanted to show that off. That'll be in the thumbnail. But my little show and tell.
But yeah, the band has like a whole bunch of people like kind of like revolving in and out. There's just too many to name, but like, oh yeah, I was supposed to, my bad, backtrack.
So sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt.
The House of Wax song, the guy was like, I guess he's the game show host. One of them was singing, and all of a sudden, Demon Kagura pops out. I'm like, oh shit, he looks almost like him, just a little taller, and the voice is different, and it was hilarious. I showed my friends this, and I was like, guys, what the fuck is this? And one weekend I came back and my friend's like, I found their albums. Like, who? He's like, they're called Sekime 2. I was like, Sekime, it's like, they need that. It's like, he's like, you know that one song? It's on that record. And it's, there's, I think, the end of the century.
Yeah.
That record is so fucking good. So fucking good. We used to bump that song so loud. We used to fist pump our fists outside of our windows as we were listening to it. And but the band is there's so many members coming in and out.
Yeah.
And actually in 2000 they actually broke up because that was the year of, you know, Armageddon and all that shit for them. So they had this huge live, and that live is really awesome too. This band in its entirety is fucking awesome.
They're really amazing. A lot of times when I remember when we were doing the VK panel, people were talking. First of all, they're not VK, but when we're doing, I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, they're just heavy metal. Like,
but when we were doing the
straight.
VK panel, people would always come up and try to like talk, like, "Oh, you should talk about them, talk about them," and I'm like, "I love them. They're not really VK. I'm glad that we got to bring them up." When we did the first version of the metal panel, I think Warren was actually, believe it or not, because now I almost feel like Warren has written most of the panel that as it exists today.
Not even.
But believe it or not, the first version of the panel, he was kind of a last minute addition, and the person that I was writing it with the first time didn't really have a love for Sekima 2, and I don't think they were included in the first version. And I'm like, that's so offensive. But yeah, we're gonna check out their song, which is Fire After Fire, which is another cool song of theirs. And there's so many good clips of Sekima 2 and Demon Kogure, like all over YouTube and everything. He's been on like US TV before as well, has he not?
Yeah, I think also he was there. They had some interview with him about like the end of the world and all the stuff that he does at his house. It's kind of weird. It's kind of funny.
At his house.
He's like,
that's so loud.
This is the last song on their end of the century record, which is
Admittedly, some of the other members' makeup definitely not looks like it was ripped off. Like, come on. Luke
Takamura looks like a definite Kiss. like
they're not really trying that hard there, but sound wise and thematic wise, and even music wise, they are not in any other way comparable to Kiss.
Yeah, they're singing a lot about like hell and demons and all this.
It's kind of like the God, what's the band I'm trying to think of? It's kind of like that '80s metal version of singing about hell and demons, though. It's like it's a little tongue in cheek.
Yeah, it's all tongue in cheek. You know, they're all like messing around, but I just love the fact that the Demon Kaguru's persona is so beyond the band.
Yeah, and if you watch this whole video, it's actually a pretty good set piece there, and everything, like that throne and everything.
He also has some. Demon Kagura actually has some really good moves too.
When you say that, it's doing the arms just over and over.
It's a.
I don't
He's
have
cranking
space for it. Yeah, I don't have space for it to knock everything over. So I just love this song. Is that another healing guitar? It looks like a healing.
Oh yeah, it does, huh? Just with less stripes.
I know. I'm like, wait. But no, I don't think it was. But yeah, that's
like
Sekima 2.
Like, what was I gonna? I was gonna add something to this, but I forgot. Yep, I forgot.
Rip. If you remember, we'll come back to that. But moving along to Saver Tiger. Oh shit! I didn't mean to go that far. Sorry, my mouse is really sensitive tonight. Saver Tiger. Now we're getting into a bit more of the underground. Everyone. Oh shit, man, it's taking forever. we were talking about like I don't know if we have time, if we're gonna have to fill up all the time, and we're like barely like not even halfway. But actually, we're about halfway right now. But yeah, Saver Tiger, formerly known as Saber Tiger, which is like Warren mentioned earlier. There's another band called Saber Tiger, and I think technically Saver Tiger is Yokosoku Saber Tiger.
I think Yokosuka.
Well, yeah, the region, the region of the name is in their name, but it's confusing. They should have changed the name a little more better if they were going to do this, but whatever.
Tiger Saber.
There's something of an underground like supergroup because like everyone is in this band at some point. Hide was there for a while, which is how they get the most fame, but they really have a rotating lineup. Even like most bands have that one member who's like the leader, and Saver Tiger doesn't even really have that. Like they have a member, I believe is the guitarist Hikaru, and who also was in X Japan, by the way. He was the guitarist Hikaru, who currently, currently is in the second, currently like has various band members join him as Saver Tiger. And he was one of the classic members, but he was not always there. Like there were times when he wasn't in Saver Tiger. So it's almost like a name and a certain small collective of members who just come and go. And as far as I know, they don't have any recorded material, but they have tons of original songs, both new and old. So it just
they have an EP.
Do they?
Like in '85, 85. They have an EP, like 2 songs.
Because obviously there's like Sadistic Desire that became an X Japan song, but yeah, they don't have.
There's no like full lengths. I think they might have some like other. They have they have splits, live albums and stuff, but it's not actually like.
So we're entering, we're entering that level of like underground metal here, where it's like people are trading tapes and bootlegs and things like that they probably recorded themselves. There's not really much official material. Also, there's like very little official video, which is why the video we're gonna watch is a little jank. But yeah, a lot of people know them because of Hide, but honestly, they deserve way more. My favorite musician is Mista Badguy.
They're like way beyond. I mean, like Hide was in there for a bit, and they're revolving around because I don't think it was. I don't think it was. You said the guitarist. It wasn't. You said Karu. I think it was Shu. He was in X Japan.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, actually, it was Shu. But
yeah,
Hikaru was the bassist, I believe, by the way, and I think he was in X Japan as well, though, wasn't he?
Like everybody, like
Hikaru was actually the bassist, not the guitarist.
There's so many.
It doesn't matter.
People like taking from each other so much that it's like it's quite interesting to kind of see.
And just remember these names and kind of try to remember the names because as we go on, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, and by the way, a lot of the members from here were also in Saver Tiger, were also in X.
Yeah, because Hikaru actually was he was in I think in Atlantis Court of Arms.
That's a band.
Actually, the thing is, we don't even know how much more they are like because we're now the managers that we're getting underground. It's such a small, tight knit group. Yeah. That when people leave bands, they're just like, "Oh, you're not in this band no more. Hey, we need a guitarist. Oh, we need a drummer. We need a bassist. We need a singer." And eventually people just like, there's a revolving door of people just coming in and out in different bands. Even for X Japan.
X Japan's insane because X Japan, everyone knows their original lineup, but that was not the original lineup. They had I think like 6 different members who came and went during their major, that actually wasn't even a major label debut, but their pre-album debut, and they recorded stuff too, like X Japan. But we'll get to them in a second. Let's play Saver Tiger, and this is a clip. What's the song? Bloody Wing. Now I believe this one does feature. Oh shit! I didn't switch. This one does feature. Wait, is this the band that what's his face was in? Kyo. From Derlanger.
From the only person from Derlanger,
What band was Kyo in before Derlanger? Kyo's the vocalist.
Oh no! Yes, you're correct.
Because Kyo's singing. I want to say Kyo's singing here, but
here you see Bloody. Was it
Bloody Wing? But definitely the Hikaru. I think Hikaru's there too, but definitely Hide's here is what I'm getting at. But yeah, I'm 99% sure that's Kyo. I can't really see. That sounds like him. Let me put this up a little. But yeah, this is Kyo. If it's not Kyo, somebody correct me. But Kyo from Durlanger definitely was a vocalist for Saber Tiger, and he was in Durlanger, and he was also in Dying Cries, which is the far more popular band. Very Van Halen-ish solo there. This quality we're seeing actually isn't that bad compared to the X Japan video we're gonna watch in a minute. This looks almost professional.
It looks good.
But yeah, I don't know who that is on bass there, but that's not Hikaru. But I'll cut it there. I'm just like, I feel bad cutting him, but life isn't enough to him. But let's move along. That was kind of a horrible, like, not really sure it's a horrible thing to say. But anyways, rest in peace, Hide. Rest in peace, I think, a few of those members. I want to say somebody from Saber Tiger is dead as well, has passed away as well.
For Saber Tiger, I think it just might be Hide.
Oh, really? I could have sworn there was someone else too. Anyways.
Oh, Toki. Yeah, their bass player, Toki.
Yeah, I'm like somebody else I think passed away too, but yeah.
Yeah.
So X.
There's a lot of.
This is a very. Go ahead.
Oh no. Oh. Continue.
This is a very famous picture of X Japan. If you type in X Japan in Google, this is the first page. This is the first page picture. It might not be the first one that comes up, but this is the first page picture, and it's weird because you look at it, and it's like it's a very different lineup of X Japan. Toshi and Yoshiki are there, of course, as they're always there, but there's no Hide, and I don't actually remember. I actually don't know off the top of my head who those two members are. If you do know, I want to say one of them is Shu, but if you know who the other one is, I don't know. But
because if it's early X, man, there's so many fucking members.
There is. Now it's funny because everyone knows Pata, Hide, Taiji, Yoshiki, and Toshi, but like, but that lineup didn't really. I think Pata was there before Hide, but yeah, that lineup didn't really solidify until like the late '80s. Throughout most of the '80s, when the band was recording demos, recording EPs, like the picture that we started the panel with was from X Japan's first. Depending who you talk to, it's an EP or a single or whatever. Their first release, official one called "I'll Kill You." Which I don't know if we should have shown that picture because there's actually pictures of real dead bodies on there. Imagine Yoshiki releasing that today because Yoshiki's all like, he's all about the elegance. Yeah, and that's Yoshiki. And that's all like Yoshiki's idea. This is like Yoshiki's little baby. X Japan is. But yeah, I think this picture was taken for a demo tape they did for like CBS or one of those records. Because there's a lot of recorded material for this group, and there's a lot of early versions of some songs, especially the song X. But yeah, there's a lot of members coming in and out. I don't think we'll talk too much about X Japan because as far as like this panel's concerned, anything past the X days before they changed the name to X Japan becomes a little like more in the VK category. Yep. But we're gonna
the funny thing is,
go ahead.
Oh, I was saying like, because I just decided to look up to see how many guitars they had in between starting and before Hide even jumped in. So that was like 82 to 87. They had like 12 guitars.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And many
like
of them,
so many people.
A lot of them didn't record.
And it gets nuts. Well, okay, here, let's go. Let's film me tonight.
Also, some of them, film me tonight. This is a non-recorded song they have. Also, the lineups get a little crazy because sometimes they had one guitar, sometimes they had two. Here they only had one. This still sounds like X Japan though. You gotta love that.
That's because Toshi has his signature voice.
And there's Yoshiki still drumming like a madman. But look at this stage. Look how like cramped it looks.
We can never get that close ever again.
I know. Imagine going to the X Japan like this. Fun fact: apparently in the '90s, when they were trying to break out in the U.S. and when they changed the name to X Japan, they used to play small clubs like in the. Oh, look at this! Look at this!
Look at this guy. They're just like.
No, it gets better because they push him off, and then they push Toshi too. There he goes, and Toshi fell too.
He's just like.
He's like, oh shit! I pushed Toshi also. Oh, and then the other kick. Yeah, he kicks them. Whoever the
like,
kick.
Get the fuck out!
Like, get off the stage. Oh, but I forgot what I was saying, but it was not important. Look at the people on the stage. Are those like stage hands just that close? Because they're just like right there.
Maybe they're just roadies.
Yeah, that girl doesn't look like a stage hand. There's like a girl on the you can't see her anymore. But there's like a girl on the right who looks like she's just like somebody's girlfriend, just waiting for them to finish. Yeah, I don't know who these members are, by the way, so I'm not sure who we're watching here doing the solo. Like I said, I think this might be Shu as well, but it could be any of 12 people apparently.
It just depends on when this song came out. Feel Me Tonight.
Yeah, I want to say 84 or 85, so that might limit it a bit.
There's just so much history. 80. So, wow.
Oops.
I'm looking at, so there is a Feel Me Tonight demo.
Oh, there is.
This like actually this demo is actually Feel Me Tonight, which is Feel Me Tonight number 2. Has a guy actually the guitarist that recorded this is, but they do have Hikaru on bass.
Yeah, and I want to say that was the one that might have been him there doing the kicking, but
he's just like nope.
Because I'm pretty sure that when I was we used to show a different X Japan clip, but that clip right there, I'm pretty sure that it was making the rounds for the early version of the panel, and that other friend of mine who was helping write the panel like way back when it was first starting, he's more versed in the Hikaru verse of Saber, Tiger, and X. And I think he told me that that's him in that video. So let's talk real fast about some success in the West. We'll probably breeze through these little topic-y things because I feel like we said most of this throughout.
Success in the way.
Yeah, we already mentioned the Thunder in the East thing. We mentioned Loudness getting Mike Viscera on vocals. We mentioned Anthem. Anthem didn't do anything drastic, but they also had some like MTV airtime back in the day and so on. And I think that they definitely did tour the U.S. in the 80s as well. I'm not sure if they, let me phrase that, I'm not sure if they toured the U.S., they did some festivals, but they definitely played here. And Flatback, yeah, Flatback of course changed the name to EZO. X changed the name to X Japan because there's a band already called X, who I swear to God, I still don't really know of them, but they're all over the news these days because they released a new album, like the first album, like 20 years or some bullshit. Like they're basically busting an X Japan. They released their new album, and I think it's called Los Angeles or some shit like that. And yeah, I'm like, who? I'm like, it's that stupid band that keeps popping up, the one that made X Japan change their name. But yeah. Obviously, in another chapter of Nirvana killed my band's career. It didn't kill their careers, but it did mean that like they were a little not in vogue. Like everyone wanted Pearl Jam and Nirvana and like Soundgarden. I can't think of any other like bands from the early 90s, but yeah. So let's talk a bit about all-female bands. Let's talk about Shoya.
Shoya, man.
Now, not gonna lie, hold on, let me actually look this real fast before I say anything. Yeah, okay, check it out. So I'll say this real fast. Shoya is an interesting band because when they first started, First of all, Shoya is kind of like the loudness as far as like female metal bands are Japanese female metal bands are concerned.
I thought you said shit. I was like, shit. Oh my god.
No, I said shit because I lost my mouth point.
I sat there. I was like, man, I'm gonna backhand you. I'm gonna backhand you from the internet.
No, they're awesome actually. But I was gonna.
They're fucking great.
But Shoya, now their early stuff, they had a different vocalist. Where's the vocalist? Actually, no. The original vocalist was the poppy one. Sorry, never mind. But the first couple albums, if you ever listen to them, you could hear it. The first album sounded a lot like. There's another band called Princess, and they sounded a lot like them. And there's also like Pink Sapphire, like all these kind of like poppy, idol-ish 80s rock bands. And they sounded like that because they were produced by Yasushi Yakamoto, who is more, at the time, he was known for producing an idol group called Onyanko Club, but now he's more famous for producing AKB48 and all the 48s, and he also does like Nanabu no Ichi, he does like Equals Love, and basically a crap ton of idol groups. But then somewhere along the way, they kind of just went to straight like metal. And they're awesome.
Fucking good at it.
Yes,
they're fucking like I think for when they first, you said they started like I think the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first 6 records were like kind of poppy.
Yeah, and then like if anything, they've actually gotten harder because like their next albums were like after the initial Akipi ones, they did get metal. But then, like, when they reformed with the original lineup in the 2000s, I know we're kind of jumping ahead there. They just like have been. If you go to YouTube, one of their more viral videos is their cover of Kurenai, and it's amazing. We probably should have included that in a future panel if we're just gonna start moving on from that, from just strictly 80s.
I know, right? We keep on jumping way ahead.
Leslie, are you being sexist? Are you being sexist because you're talking about female bands? I see how it is in the chat. Wes is stores.
Oh, I'm her favorite musician, even though I don't make music. So, but the interesting thing is, like, I think it was the album. So I decided to kind of like skip all the pop stuff and just like because I'm not gonna lie, guys, I kind of slept on them for a little bit, but not in a way where it's just like they suck. I just didn't get into them. So I listened to the Outer Limits record.
Yes, I was going to say.
Fucking Christ, that shit is so good.
No, I was going to mention that, yep.
Yeah, there is one song that I don't really care for. Don't remember. But the rest, I gave it a good solid 9. I was like, it's that fucking good. I'm just like, oh shit, I cannot believe I missed this.
Yeah, similar to you, I slept on them too, and then like I actually found that CD in like in Little Tokyo. There's like this music. I don't think it's there anymore, but there used to be a music store like hidden in one of the gift shops, and they had all these CDs like on clearance. And I bought a bunch, just buying random shit because they were so cheap. And I bought that one, and I listened to it just out of curiosity. I thought it was gonna be like poppy, like things. And I was like, what the fuck is this? It's amazing. But yeah, go on.
Oh no, it's just like it's just so fucking. If you guys like just straight up heavy metal. It's so good, and Keiko's voice is she's so strong too.
I know.
It kind of reminds me of not reminds me, but you know how like Mikumo's voice is like strong. I was like, that's the kind of shit. I was like, like it punches you so fucking good. And Manuel's gonna show it. Probably show. Let's go. Let's get on to
Watashi Watashi wa Arashi, like I Am Storm or something, I don't know. Put this down a little. This is definitely just claimed as well.
So good.
But yeah, and like I said, you gotta give it up to an all-female band when they just they kind of just say fuck it and they rock it as heavy as anyone else.
And they're all playing their instruments.
Oh yeah. And there's actually a whole world of like modern, including Shoya's still around, but like modern, newer female metal bands that we could just go on, like write a whole panel about them. Oh shit! I think I even noticed that move.
That looked like it hurt, man. She dropped her.
That wasn't a proper split. She dropped to her knees.
I was just like, That's what we call it. It's gonna get. It probably got back to her later.
I was gonna say that too. I was like, oh man, you're gonna regret that. You're probably regretting that right now. You're probably watching this video back and you're like, oh man, I regret doing that.
That's when it started. That's when it started. Oh, no, solo.
And look at this. Look at the solo, but look at her. I mean, like, mind you saw that also in like glam metal bands, but her nails are painted too. That's what I was gonna point out.
They even get out of like the keyboard, like
the keyboard is even rocking. That was pretty cool. Oh yeah.
Oh.
That was pretty bad. Can't forget we're doing a panel here. That was amazing.
Damn, that was fucking nice.
That was good. I'm gonna go listen to Australia when we're done with this.
Actually, I don't know if you know, but they have 3 of their members. They're all named Mickey.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So Keiko's the senior, and then it was like, I think.
Oh, you're right. I've never noticed that.
They have to,
Miki Higurashi, Miki Nakamura, and Miki Tsunada. Miki.
Tsunoda. So Tsunoda is the drum.
Tsunoda, but yeah.
And she actually, I think they had to nickname each other, so no one would get like confused. So I think one's called Captain, Sungo, and Mitan.
That's funny. I've never noticed that.
Yeah, because you see, Miki Igarashi is the guitarist.
Yeah. That's funny. And I totally wrote this out too. I never noticed that.
I had to like add this in because I was like, we didn't talk about this last time, and it's just hilarious that they have 3 members with the same first name, so they had to change. They had to give each other nicknames.
Oh my god.
But Shoya, yeah, you guys fucking definitely, especially that. I was it Outer Limits.
Yeah, that album's amazing.
Outer Limits is fucking amazing. It fucking. I went nuts the first time I listened to it. I was like, "What the fuck?" This is like probably in 2000. Yeah, just last November. I was like, you know what? Let's put it on just to see how it is. And I was like, "Oh my fucking god!"
Yeah, I think I bought those CDs like about 5 years ago, but it was around the time I went to go. It was funny because it was around the time they released, or a little before that, but around the time they released that cover of Kurenai, and I was like, oh my gosh, Shoya is so fucking awesome. And I actually have other Shoya CDs from that same like bundle I bought, but oh my god, they're amazing. I wonder if that Story Little Tokyo is still open because they had more copies of that CD and it was like $3.
You can't. You know nothing's open no more. They're all shut down.
See, I keep forgetting. Sorry about that little sound thing there.
We're all sad. The Rona.
So moving on a bit to Valkyrie. Wait, Valkyrie. Now, the weird thing about them is that at some point, do I have it written here? I think at some point they corrected. Yeah, I don't have it written here. But at some point they did notice that they misspelled their name because obviously that's meant to be Valkyrie. Because I believe they're definitely together now. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead here. But now they're called Valkyrie. So I almost feel like just pronouncing it correctly. But I like to put them here because they're also Osakan. And there's a lot of Osakan like all female groups like I believe Shonen Knife. They're like a punk, power punk, like, you know, poppy punk. I mean, I guess it's still power punk, but they're like a poppy punk band. Like everyone knows, like they were one of Kurt Cobain's favorite bands and so on. They're from Osaka as well. There's a lot of like traditions of like all female Osakan bands, and they're kind of emblematic of the female side of things. And I think you introduced me to them, Warren, at some point. Like in their.
Yeah, I remember. I did find them on accident.
Yeah,
and they didn't last too long either. That was kind of the other.
To be honest, the only reason I'm bringing them up at all is they have a pretty good demo out there that you can find if you know where to look.
Yeah, and
they're back together now. They have a new vocalist, but the rest of the lineup is still all there. Well, I should rephrase that. I think they got a vocalist. I don't think that they had a vocalist before. They just kind of just like, you know, I think one of the members sang. Now, you know what? I don't think I'll show this video. We'll just move on because we're spending a lot of time here. Mainly because this video is out of place. There's no video I could find of their older shit. This is one of the newer songs. I'll have a link to it below. But let's move along, because there's a lot of lesser known bands I want to talk about, and we're like really into time.
Yeah, dude, we are. I think this is so extensive. I didn't actually think that we're gonna take all this time.
But if
we always do this. We always do this.
No, but we've never done this bad. Like usually, believe it or not, the panels have been anywhere from like 45 minutes to 90 minutes. But we've never stretched it out this far. And I didn't even do the intros.
It's almost 2 hours.
No, I didn't even do the intros. That's the funny thing, because like usually when we start any podcast, like we shoot the shit for like 15-20 minutes, mainly because we're trying to build the audience, and I don't want to jump into the topics when people are still getting into the chat. But I figured that we were going to get who we were going to get, so I just started. But yeah, fucking hell. But let's talk about Tokyo Yankees. By the way, I saw this really funny meme earlier today, and I just wanted to share it. It was like Japan's capital in like before 1860 whatever, or actually way before that, but Japan's capital, and it was like Kyoto. It was like Kyoto, and it's like Japan's capital after whatever year it was, and he went like this, and it's Tokyo, and it was just the funniest meme ever. I just wanted to share that. It was like Kyoto, Tokyo, and the guy has a smile. But anyway, that was stupid, but I just wanted to share that. That made me laugh. I was thinking about that all day today. But Tokyo Yankees, definitely the more well-known of the lesser-known groups to talk about here. They're formed from Gorilla and Rommel. We'll talk about Rommel a bit later on, but go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Oh no, I was just saying that like it's funny because see eventually they were also grouped in the BK realm because they are also really good friends with. They're on the Ecstasy Summit.
Yeah.
They're part of the Ecstasy Summit Festival.
Yeah, I think the clip we're showing. I think the clip we have is from Ecstasy Summit as well.
Yeah, and they also remember they did like that huge cover, like the thing, the Ace of Spades.
Yeah.
And so like, and this is where the whole entire BK thing, like this is where it starts to kind of get a little, because this is where it starts to get a little muddy.
Yep, definitely.
Because these guys actually, they actually played like more thrash, speed metal, and like heavy metal, but they have the looks of a fucking visual K band.
Exactly. Rip Ume, the singer, vocalist who died in about
2007.
Yeah, 2007, right there. So yeah, the rest of the lineup still well, most of the rest of the lineup still performs. I believe they replaced Ume with someone else, and obviously they replaced Ami, who is their bassist. But they're a really cool band. Ume has a very particular vocal style, and you're gonna hear it in a second.
Yeah,
it's a very it's very, you love it or you hate it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I enjoy them. I like Ume's vocals. It is. There's a part where it's just like I wish it didn't sound like you're just grumbling. Like and I fucking I love death metal and shit, right? And with even that, I was just like, you at least sound like you're just trying to. God damn.
No, it's like people make the joke about death metal vocals being Cookie Monster vocals, but he legit sounds like Cookie Monster was in a metal band.
Yeah,
because it's all like, but like he's not doing death vocals. He's just like singing like in the Cookie Monster.
That's just his style. That's just his style.
It's like,
so yeah, rest in peace, Ume. I think in their lives they just probably, old singers from other bands to just come in and do songs.
If you listen to that Ace of Spades video that Warren mentioned earlier, I have a link to that as well if I remember. I'm gonna try to get all these videos and the ones I mentioned. Well, so far just Ace of Spades is not on the list. I'll put it in there. If you watch that video, I swear to God, because that song's in English and we know the lyrics. Like, well, you can know the lyrics. I swear to God, he is literally just mumbling in there. He's literally just like, he literally is just mumbling because he doesn't know the words. And you can tell he just like, he just literally. You
just gotta know the Ace of Spades. That's a
exactly. Ace of Spades.
The Ace of Spades.
The Ace of Spades. Oh my God! But yeah, we're gonna dive into Field.
Let's get to this video.
For the record, I'm pretty sure this is English as well. That scream. Yeah, he's saying dive in the field, but you can't see. And this is a style, like, if you ever listen to, like, Color, or, this is like Dynamite Tommy, that's the vocalist guy, I can't remember. He sounds like Dynamite Tommy.
Yeah, it's like, he's like,
oh yeah,
he doesn't have to be great, but, you know, it works. Like I said, I'm not too fond of it, but, it's passable for me, at least. Like,
but this shit's still good right here. This shit's still awesome, I mean to say.
Like, the instrumentals are fucking on
Dude,
par, like...
cut your strings! Look at the strings! That's like a pet peeve of mine. Look at the strings! Cut your strings, dude! It's like they strung your record for the show and they just left it.
They're like, fuck it! No, we don't care. But then I think, like... So, like even with them, like, going back to, like, seeing... like how my biggest thing is that, so now that we finally get here, even for Extra Pan, it's like, this isn't visual, like Visual K eventually has like a specific, I think more when we roll into the 90s with VK, it's starting to have its own sound. But right now, like especially in the 80s, like they look like this, but they play like speed metal, thrash metal, death, like a little bit of death metal, black metal, and so that's why I always had a pet peeve of like having Visual K as an actual genre.
Yeah.
Especially when you look in the 80s, because I was just like, they're just playing what's hot. Like,
oh, sorry, keep going.
Oh no, I'm just saying, it's, you know, they're just playing what's popular, like whatever metal, the popular sounding metal is at the time, right? So, you know, it's like Visual K is more of it's a fashion statement.
Exactly.
For me,
that's all
than an actual,
yeah.
than an actual like sound, because that's what I always tell people, just like, there are a handful of bands that play Visual K, and a lot of them have like a specific sound now, like probably like in the towards the 90s, where it's just like, okay, it's starting to have a little bit, you know, it's starting to form a unique sound. But prior to that, it's all literally just like, you know, shit that's already out. They just decided to present themselves different.
Yeah, like pretty much what Warren said. I was going to say, like, the Visual K is definitely more of a visual look, which is how he mentioned Tokyo Yankees. Definitely kind of crosses over. That's what crosses over into VK, but it's more their look than their sound, because their sound is definitely more just regular thrash. Speaking of another band that looks Visual K but really isn't, is Kamaitachi. Why is the font going back to this bullshit? To this like
Did it go back?
It went back. Look at it. It's like we don't know if you can see it yet, but yeah, it went back in Kamaitachi. It was like Tokyo Yankees was fine, but Kamaitachi suddenly is that weird font. But yeah, they're definitely like just a straight up like punk band. They have like, and by punk I mean punk. I'm talking about like, you know, Green Day or Blink-182. I'm talking about like, you know,
some hardcore punk. They're like more hardcore.
Like 2-minute songs that are just like very thrashy, not thrashy in terms of like the genre thrash, but 2-minute songs that are just like, you know, you pound on something for
very straight, just very straight to the point.
Yeah, it's probably like 2 chords, and there you go. They're kind of famous because Kenshan, aka Kenzie, was a drummer. He's very famous for a band called Anti-Feminism, where he's their vocalist. As a matter of fact, I believe Kamaitachi had an anniversary show like tomorrow or sometime around now, and they had a because I know it was around the 15th. I don't know if it was like sometime in the either soon or in the past couple of days. They were having an anniversary show, and they had to reschedule because of the Rona, obviously, unfortunately. But yeah, they're really out there. They get lumped in the Visual K a lot, which is fair, because Kenzie himself, you know, does kind of
he did like the Dead Pop Stars.
Yeah. He's also But no, I'm just like how much to talk about Kenzie, because I love Kenzie. Kenzie has a bar in Little Tokyo. Sorry, that's how weeby I am. Kenzie has a bar in Tokyo, real Tokyo, not Little Tokyo, big Tokyo. He has a bar.
Real Tokyo.
He has a bar in Shinjuku, like in kind of in the Kabukicho district, and you should go there because it's a nice little like haunt for like other VK people, both new and old. Hikaru has a bar too, actually, in Shinjuku. Hikaru being the bassist for Saver Tiger and so on. To be honest, a lot of VK people have bars. It's kind of a thing to do because like bars are very prevalent in Asia, like small ones. Because like when you think of a bar here, you kind of think of like this bigger place that fits a lot of people. But bars like that don't really exist in Japan, as I haven't really seen that many. A lot of them are kind of like smaller, more intimate affairs. Like you probably put a dozen or two people in there, and some of them are really tiny, like the Golden Guy ones that have like 5 seats. But anyway, let's play this song, and we'll just you can get an example for their sound. If we ever do the 18 plus VK panel again, we have a really amazing clip of anti-feminism that has literal sex in it. And it's amazing. Not just because there's sex, but I mean, it's just the wildest out there clip, and like Kenzie cuts himself and shit like that.
That boy is wild.
No, he is wild. Like
that boy is fucking wild.
You don't get to see it, but like he is covered in scars from like all the shit he's done, like real scars. He eats glass. But yeah,
he breaks fluorescent lights on himself.
They're spelling out Kamaitachi right there, by the way. I have no idea what the song is called, by the way. But yeah, they're spelling out. Oh yeah, it's Neuros. I think I actually found that out because I was listening to one of their albums. Like, hey, it's that song. That looks so creepy with that doll. Look at that. This reminds me of Street Fighter.
Like,
the way Street Fighter, car, yeah.
I like how they're like doing no damage to the car too.
I know. He kicked it, nothing happened. Put this up a little. Because you need to hear this. It's all like lo-fi, like, you know. It looks like they just like interspersed, like that cut to the car exploding does not look like it was part of that video, but whatever. Even the sound kind of stopped for it.
They had to destroy it somehow, okay?
Blow it up.
But like, Street Fighter moves are not doing it.
But yeah, I watched that part where we start smashing the microphone thing on the actual like stage.
And everyone's just watching it. Like,
I know.
huh?
They actually they look like bemused. Like they don't really care.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think this is actually the entire song. The song ends after this. Like I faded out, but this is actually the end of the song. It ends after like this last little return to the chorus. And the kick. But yeah, they're really out there. By the way, that's him in the audience right there. That's what's going on there.
He's all he looks
Look at all the shit he's throwing in the audience.
He's just throwing shit. He's just like fuck y'all.
Get the fuck out of here.
Shit.
It's like GGL and bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that looked like it was kind of heavy. The last thing, that was like a box or something.
Yeah, it looked like I thought he threw like a mini washer.
Yeah, that's like we actually saw the whole song. It's 2 minutes long. I didn't mean to play all that, but I was I just wanted to watch it myself too. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like they're really like punk, and that's what like even going back to it, just like, are they VK? No, that's a punk band.
That was awesome. So once again, sorry we had to watch the whole thing. Let's talk about Gas Stunk.
Yeah, usually we don't. Okay, Gas Stunk. Oh.
Now it's funny because Warren wrote a lot of notes for like this new version of like the panel we're doing technically. And I was reading some of the notes for Gas Stunk, and they're pretty wild. But yeah, let's talk about this.
So Gas Stunk I actually got to. So I did listen to them before, and I liked them, and then I tried it again just to see.
Actually, sorry, real fast. Warren, keep talking. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I had to go to the bathroom before the panel started. So yeah, I'll be right back. So go and keep talking.
So early on, they actually played. So the song that we are gonna have put on is one of their most famous songs. But it's kind of a little goth rocky. It's slower, but in that same record, which is called Dead Song, the song that is the record that when they actually came onto a major label too. They were actually punk, very hardcore punk, and eventually they evolved to kind of add more metal elements to it, to them, and actually even to a sense they actually experimented a little bit more too after the Dead Song record. And the funny thing is that I think it was their singer. I think it was a singer or guitarist. They were talking about how when they first got to a major label to make Dead Song, they're a hardcore punk band first, and then they were relabeled. Like they are actually relabeled as metal, which is fucking hilarious because I'm just like they do not. This is like their initial sound. They do not sound too metal. A lot of like hardcore, quick songs, but they experimented with a lot of like interesting sounds. If you guys ever get to check them out, Dead Song, the song Dead Song, fucking cool, awesome. The record Dead Song, fucking awesome too. Knowing that like they also had like a lot of the members have like their vocalist Baki, who's the guy in the middle of the picture you see. He's in black. He has this long black hair, and he's like sitting right in the middle. Baki, and then Tatsu, their guitarist, who is the guy with the pink hair to the left. They're actually really good friends with Hide and Taiji. Actually, just Extra Pan in general. And they actually have a live where Baki, they have Baki and Taiji, and they're just singing at a random live, like Extra Pan, like Taiji and oh, what did I say? Did I say he? Toshi and Taiji came in, and they just seemed like they just kind of like they didn't rob the show, but they just came in. They're like, "Hey, what's up, guys? Can we play at your show for a little bit?" And they're like, "Yeah, cool." And so basically, like this band was actually formed through members. Like all the members are from like they say quote unquote like kind of like legendary, not I guess legendary band punk bands, Dead Cops, The Execute, The Comes.
The Comes.
Yeah, that's right. The Comes. I was like, oh. But so that's where you got a lot of their hardcore roots in, and eventually like things kind of changed a little bit, and that's why I said like I think was it the record because I just recently listened to it too. It was their sophomore record, Under the Sun, and it's so drastically different from Dead Song. It kind of really like I wouldn't say like avant-garde, kinda. It basically like they still have their punk roots, but they took a different formula, and they sound extremely unique too.
Yeah, like so, I mentioned it right there on the panel. They actually had some minor chart success, like which is kind of unusual for like any band we're talking about here. Like in terms of like the Oricon charts, yeah, they had a couple like actual hits, so to speak. A smarter person would have made notes of the hits, but I didn't. But yeah.
But so the song that Manuel is gonna be giving us is
Dead End, right?
Dead Song.
Dead Song.
No, Dead Song. Dead Song.
Dead End's the band. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about Dead End.
He's like, ooh, oof.
Yeah, it's Dead Song. Let me actually get that queued up. So I had to go to the bathroom right there. Like I was mentioning earlier, like I had to go before we started, and I was like, I could wait till 8, but now it's 8, and I'm like, I think we're gonna go for. Oops, sorry. I'm playing it without actually showing it. See, a smarter person would have had these queued up already. Sorry about my beard too. I'm a little unshaven, but then again, it's the Rona, so I also am dire need of a haircut.
No shave. What is it? No shave May.
No shave May. It's gonna be May. I love this performance because like he has his hair like the way he's singing. He's covering his face like the whole time, and he's wearing the rattiest shoes ever. You'll see them eventually. I love this song, by the way.
Yeah, this song is so fucking good, dude.
Yeah, look at the shoes. They're like worn out like completely.
Before you became rich. Before you make money.
Speaking of, like, it's kind of sad. I remember watching, like, the Ace of Spades, like, documentary that they put out on DVD a while back. Like, when everyone was still alive. Filthy Animal apparently had to rent the clothes he wore for that one because he didn't have, like, any nice clothes to wear for it.
Oof.
And I'm like, oh, man. Because for those who don't know, Filthy Animal's a drummer and he retired after he left Motorhead or whatever. So, yeah.
And then he passed too?
Yeah, they're all passed away. Every member who recorded Ace of Spades has passed away.
Oh yeah, huh?
Fast Eddie, I think, went first, and Filthy Animal, and then of course Lemmy.
Live fast, die old.
I know. We never played this whole clip either, but I actually really love this song. And
This song is fucking phenomenal.
And I talked over most of it about something totally unrelated, sorry. But yeah, it's still great.
They have another song called The Eyes. That one's a really good one too. And that from that same record.
I did wash my hands, just not for 3 minutes. It was funny because like when I was washing my hands, I'm like, I really don't have time to wash them for 3 minutes, like they recommend. Or is it 3 minutes? 30 seconds. Is it 3
20?
minutes?
I think it's supposed to be.
I definitely why did I sit there for 3 minutes thinking about that? I did wash them. I did wash my hands. My bathroom is literally right outside of this door, which you can't see because I'm facing the door. But
just get your alcohol. Just dump your hand in alcohol.
Yeah, I did wash.
But that's the whistle.
It's
then
funny.
you can drink it because you killed the Rona, and now you have to.
There's a safety video where like this guy, he comes out of the bathroom, he's like, I heard the toilet flush, but I didn't hear the hand sink. Did you wash your hands? He's like, and I kept making that joke of like, because a friend of mine has like on her Animal Crossing island, she has like this whole setup. You have to wash your hands before you go to her island, and I'm like, I didn't wash my hands. I bring in the Rona.
Ooh.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I did wash my hands. So. There's apparently a conspiracy in the chat, by the way, for those who don't know what's going on there. Whether or not
There's conspiracy in the chat.
Whether or not I wash my hands. So Ion's a band formed by Izumi. Now, I like how I just mentioned all this. He broke up the band to form FanimeCon in 1985 with X-Color and X members. But we'll come back to Ion a year later. I think that second thing of Ion is when they became a bit more popular. Because that's when they had the lineup change. That had like, I think it's the picture of the lineup they had after FanimeCon. But yeah, Izumi has a band called FanimeCon. Let's go on.
Yes. In FanimeCon, yeah. So what happened was that, Izumi made the band, and he was just like, I'm making FanimeCon, and he killed the band. And then I think a year after, the year after, which is so 85, he killed it. Started in 83, killed in 85. Started FanimeCon in 86, and then started FanimeCon in 85. 86 came, FanimeCon died, and then him and Dean, which is the guitarist that he has with him in FanimeCon, decided to form Ion again. And Dean is actually so. Izumi is the guy with the red hair, the short guy with
I know, he's like
the guy with the mohawk. He's the short guy with the separate, looks like the star. And then Dean is the guy with the black hair. But what this picture actually shows is that actually this is the lineup that people do know when they started to kind of break out to be. I guess they're charting to VK territories, but when they first started, they actually they don't have a picture with the original lineup for when they first came back. So when they came back as Ion, they actually don't have Nov, who's the shortest guy in that picture.
I know, he's like
Nov came in 91, I think, and so the guy previous to that actually he's a singer of Rosenfeld.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The very first record of Death Thrashbound, which is fucking so. Oh, that shit's so fucking thrashy. So going back to they actually played like more speed metal, more thrash metal.
And don't worry, and just real fast for everyone that we're kind of starting to lose when we start talking about Rosenfeld and Rommel and Mein Kampf. Don't worry, we're gonna address these things later on. Yeah. We'll address it. Don't worry, we're not just dropping out these crazy ass things and like lol. Oh, I shouldn't even joke about that. But no, we're not edgy internet we're not edgy internet trolls who are like saying these kind of things just for kicks.
The funny thing is that like. So when he formed forming Mein Kampf, he actually had Kerry from X Japan, with him. He was in X Japan, and then Hisayoshi, which is the singer for Ion and Rosenfeld. he was also the singer for Minecraft. So when Minecraft broke up, he basically took different. Oh no, Hisayoshi was not singing with them. Previously was. Excuse me. It's just so.
TLDR is confusing.
It's quite confusing. But so Hisayoshi, yeah, they don't have a picture with him and the actual Ion band, even though he recorded Death Thrashbound, Ion's first full length, with them. Which is pretty interesting. So Nav, this picture with Nav in it, that is the lineup that everybody knows. Not again, not everybody, but it's like more mainstream Ion.
Sorry, by the way, I keep forgetting to update the description
no.
on the bottom. No, on the bottom right for everyone who might be watching. The panel does come in two parts, where the middle part's a little talky part about success in the West. Oops. Anyways, keep going.
So, eventually, so the song that we're gonna be showing actually is not from Death Thrashbound. So this is Knob era, which is 90s.
Yeah.
So not to like say any like that we got our information kind of mixed up. So we still have to update some of this.
The slide.
But there's no video of them playing Death Thrashbound live with Hisayoshi. So all we have is just what Knob's stuff is. And then Knob and Hisayoshi sound totally different. Knob is cleaner, a little bit clearer. Hisayoshi's a little bit more of a screamer, and so it's a little different. Like Knob's just more crisp, and you guys will see it in
the clip.
In the next clip. So let's roll that shit.
Gas. Oh man, I legit couldn't breathe. Yeah, gas for breath, literally for me. I like hiccuped it.
It sounds like they say gas for breasts.
For breasts.
There's Izumi. There's Knop right there. Doing his David Lee Roth shit.
I know. Yeah, that's just obviously naming out the Stab Dean and all the members that we already mentioned. And that's like a little bit of a history of the band. Did they mention Minecraft down here?
I do not know how to read Japanese.
No, they did mention they broke. I can only read some. I can read it all if it was slower, but I can only read some of it this fast. There's actually is given a pretty good history of them.
That's pretty good. That's interesting. Gas for breath. Grass for brace for breath. Gas for breath.
Human Grief Man.
No, but like yeah, Human Grief Man was I think that was the record that Nav was on. Yeah, his first record with Ion. But dude, the break of this song is so fucking good.
Gas for Grief.
I hope you have it. I
don't know if I do.
Oh, I think if you go further, oh my god, the break. We just have to listen to like he's. Oh here, we're here. Oh shit, we're here. Man, it's so fucking crunchy. That is so. I have no idea, but it's sick.
An axe.
It's interesting too. The shape. It's not a V.
I know.
It's a V with a penis.
If anyone knows the model of guitar, let us know.
Let us know. But yeah, that fucking break. Oh man, that's.
Oops.
Damn.
Oops. Okay.
But actually, the fun little note. Nav is now. He's actually a music teacher. He teaches at the Music Institute. I think in Tokyo.
Oh, I was about to say,
he's a vocal teacher.
Oh shit.
It's kind of it's very interesting. Yeah. Like I saw videos. I was like, no, this is interesting. So yeah, he worked at Music Institute.
That's weird. So moving on to Sabbath.
Sabat. Sabbat. Those guys are fucking early too.
Oh my god! You can tell You can kind of tell the tongue in cheekiness just by this picture.
They're like, what is it? They're Japan's answer to Venom.
That's a Venom. Yeah. Actually, they have a lot of. To be honest, their style jumps all over the place.
Yeah, like they did a lot of like they do thrash, speed, and black metal.
Yeah.
All in one little. But this band is actually I think they started in, so they have very interesting names. So is a Gezel, which is the guy to the very left where you see his crotch. He's very well known for showing his ass, like wearing like the thong.
Dude,
like
when you watch the video,
hanging out.
Yeah, when you watch the video, we're gonna show later on. Like I did check because I really wanted to make sure because I don't want to get like kicked off of Twitch. I did check. You can't see anything. It's covered, but it is barely covered.
Almost there. And
man.
So basically, he started in '83. It was he actually is the vocalist now, then and now, and he eventually he eventually hired on his brother for him to become a drummer with him, and they played around so much, like they got themselves known so well that they were able to get to do the festival, which is that
yeah festival, the festival that we're show.
Under the Castle Festival, and it's very funny because everyone there was like, who the fuck are these guys? And not only that, like I didn't know that the band was actually quite short-lived. So from '83, I think they broke up like around. When I say broke up, we'll put in quotes, like around '86, '87, because it kind of started like, so after that festival, they're already quite well known throughout Japan on the underground.
Mm-hmm.
But their guitarist left, and after the guitarist left, I think he was after him and his brother's name is Sam. They actually had a family death that put them on hiatus where they would not do any more live shows. So I say hiatus and broke up because they eventually talked about like doing a reunion. So if you're broken up, if you're asking for a reunion, broken up.
For the record, that wasn't totally my fault. It was a legit internet outage because I got a message I've never seen before. I got a message that actually said like internet's out in your area, blah blah blah, and then like literally I was about to message you like I guess we're done, and then right when I was about to say that, they gave me a new message. It was a browser one. They gave me a new thing like problem resolved. Your internet should be coming back in like 2 minutes, and then it came back.
So we going live again?
Yeah, we're live already. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the stream to catch up, but we're live.
All right.
Yeah, if anyone's watching this right now, we'll give it a couple minutes before we actually restart. Not restart. We're not doing the whole panel from the start. Okay, Warren.
Fuck that.
It's like that was 2.5 hours.
Dude, I can't believe we actually like when I thought 90 minutes was not enough. Holy shit. 90 minutes is totally.
Oh, I put we're gank. I put we're gank.
It's back. Yay. Okay. So basically,
so I think it already caught up. So you guys already heard it was the real internet. Now, fun fact: there's a little funny story before we actually really fully start. Anyone ever watched? If you guys watched, the fuck's that show? 90 Day Fiance with the guy. Who's This bottle reminds me of him because it smashed the neck, and I can't pull the neck out. But anyway. Let's start about Sabbath. Let's finish Sabbath. So they broke up because family death.
Losing guitarist. But the funny thing is that like in '85, while they were kind of broken up, they were able to. It seemed like they were getting big outside of Japan. Not big, but well known outside of Japan. So it happened to just be that, hey, like maybe we should start playing again because. Gezel, this singer, he's now vocals and bass player. He wanted to go back into the spotlight, but he was having trouble doing that with the previous guitarist that left. So they did a one shot live, but the guys like really hard to work with, and eventually, like as soon as the '90s hit, that's when they were starting to kind of gain more traction. And not only that, like they're actually, for a Japanese band that is quite in the underground, a lot of people outside of Japan really clung on to them, like early, like in like I said, late '80s, like around '89. So that's how like. What's up?
I was gonna say real fast before we forget to. I wanted to mention that when I first talked to Warren about this band, I was confused because there's also an English band called SAVER.
Oh, yeah.
And as a matter of fact, their album, SAVER Japan, their album was mislisted in my music as SAVER, England. And I was confused. I'm like, I know I have their album, and it was under theirs. And I'm like, oh shit, I had to move it. Anyways, but yeah.
And they're pretty, like, it's pretty tongue in cheek, kind of like, they talk about Satan and the occult, but it's weird because they don't take themselves too, like, how Venom kind of seems like they take themselves a little seriously, but these guys are totally opposite of that. But I guess it's like a kind of parallel to Venom. But all right. Let's get on.
It's funny because I was sharing a tweet that we're back, and when you got silent there, I thought it dropped again. You scared me.
No.
You scared me.
I'll just say that's all I have to say. And they're still going on right now too. But he also actually, there's another band that Gezel made, which is called Metal Lucifer.
So this is Blackfire from SAVER.
From the under the Castle Festival.
Yeah,
right here, there's still a quintet here.
Yeah, I'll try to jump ahead when it gets to his crotch, just in case don't want people to see too much balls.
Oh yeah, I saw other photos of him where his nut is just like hanging out.
Yeah. I could do that scream if I wanted to. He's legit cracking.
Right here, they're getting there.
Oh shit! No, it gets worse. Okay.
Oh, no,
okay, sorry. Okay, there it goes. Okay, I think that was the worst of it. It does zoom in more, believe it or not. I think we'll get to some of the more like drudgy breakdown they got going on here for the solo. Dude, cut your strings too. What's up with all these bands trying to piss me off today?
Do you cut your strings? Look, I cut my strings.
I know, it looks so sloppy.
But some people they like to put it in a ring, and it's just like hanging off. I guess if it doesn't fuck around with their sound,
It's fucking obnoxious. Let's move on. Wait, what's happening? What's he wearing?
He's wearing his G-string thong where you see his booty.
Oh, I thought he put something on. Never mind. I thought he has like a hat or something on his back that he was wearing earlier. But yeah, you gotta love the giant upside down crucifix he's wearing too. Oh, he has like a plushie thing back there, like a doll. Dude, look at his ass. His ass is just hanging out. He is not wearing clothes. Homeboy put the pants on.
This is where it all started. There's this like man thongs, hell yeah.
Oh my god. Oops. I mean, I meant to do that.
But imagine you disappeared.
No, I lost the Twitch window. I mean, the Discord window. Sorry. But yeah, moving on from SAVER to Belzaleb. Now I love them, and their band. I think I've heard of them, but I didn't really start listening to them or really get to know them until we started doing this panel, and we were looking for like more obscure bands to talk about. They're amazing.
Yeah, Belzaleb is pretty fucking cool, dude. I actually decided to kind of just like give them more of a listen, just for this panel, and fuck, it's pretty fucking good. They're pretty fucking good. They're like black, a little bit black doom metal. So they have like some little thrashier stuff, but it's just like a little bit of hardcore. But they're more known for like for being like like a heavy metal doom metal kind of band.
Yeah, they have the doom sound. They have a female vocalist, which is unusual, but
actually, there's a change to that actually.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, to be fair, I don't think
initial.
I don't think that their female vocalist was ever like. I don't think they were ever trying to have female vocalists. Just happened to have one, like just part of
Yeah, because what happens like when they first started, it was so they started about like I think in '85 in Chiba, and what happened was like their guitarist Tetsu, who's actually I think he's the leader of the band.
Yeah.
He started Belzalib, and he took like some previous members from his other band. So he had he took other members from previous works. So he had like the drummer called his drummer Yuki was from his previous band called Love House, and he also took Rick from Love House and Six Mouse, which is two other bands that Tetsu was in, and he hired them on. And the female vocalist actually, her name is was it Koizumi?
Koizumi. I have two typos in this thing. I put Tetsu, which is two S's, and then I put a lot of members going on to other bands, like on to other bands. They went on to them. It's supposed to be on two words, not one. On to other bands. If you're reading the slide, I apologize. There's typos all over this. Anyways, go on.
Oh, they actually they actually found her. They actually found her because she was doing cover bands of Black Sabbath.
Oh shit!
Like in the local area. So then they're just like, "Yo, let's join together," and they fucking made a band together, which is pretty fucking interesting, just to say the least. Because I was just like, at first I was just like, okay, they got a girl band, but it's like, a girl band member, but I didn't know to the extent that she was just doing straight up like Black Sabbath covers, and they're like, "Yeah, we want you in it." But so with that lineup with her, they won that fest that Battle of the Band that I think was like Yamaha East West. Remember in '85?
Yeah.
And that's how they kind of like became like more well known within the scene. But it's interesting because they actually have a demo called Satanic Metal that she's not on.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh no, she is on. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me. So she was on Satanic Metal, and when they debuted for a full length, she disappeared. We don't know what happened to her. So
crazy.
she's gone. And their debut of Belzalib, which is self-titled, they actually hired a new vocalist named Ray, and it's a male. It's a dude.
Yeah,
so they have a male singer named Ray.
Yeah, I have heard that. I actually thought that was. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was just Tetsu like singing himself. Because I don't actually own that officially, so I just assumed that was Tetsu singing like throughout.
Yeah,
but yeah. Okay.
It's interesting though, right? For them to like all of a sudden go, yeah, you played Black, like having like the female vocal like frontmen.
I know.
At that time was like. Especially in the all dude band.
No, exactly. That's the thing. It's not like you don't really see that often in general. You kind of see it now, like in the late '90s with like European bands, like symphonic bands, like you see like in Nightwish and shit like that. But you never saw that like you still don't see that really in in quote unquote like straight metal, as in like pure metal. I mean to say not like anyway.
And go ahead.
I
was gonna say like also like so after they won that Battle of the Bands and after they, I think, released... Oh, no, before releasing Belzalib, their self-titled album, Pada actually had them open for...
I didn't know that.
Just, like, it's another band that I think he played in, I think it was... They're called... see, Black Rose, there you go. So, yeah, so they're like a thrash band that...
Pada, for those who don't know, is the guitarist for X-Japan. Yeah, the other one that's not Hide.
So they requested Belzalib to open up for them for Pada's band Black Rose.
Huh.
And so that's how it kind of came up. But when all the good things had to end, they died in '92. They had 2 full lengths. They had 3 full lengths, excuse me. And then they died off in '92. So it started about '85, died in '92. 91, 92. Somewhere around that time.
Oops, I muted myself. Sorry, I keep hitting the wrong button.
But no, that's okay. But they're really awesome. They're pretty awesome band. Like, I didn't think that I was gonna be much into them when we first started to listen. Like, we first started to, because I was like, I have to listen to everything.
Yeah,
and then I was just like, oh.
We did this panel with Rose at ALA. It's a friend of ours who hasn't been on this podcast, but longtime A to J members, or viewers, I should say, would probably recognize Rose because she used to host A to J Talks, the very first podcast we ever did, like way back in 2016, and I was on that a lot. But Rose was on every episode, believe it or not. So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, this one. But like I was saying, we hosted that panel with Rose, and before the panel started, Rose is doing research, and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" I think she tweeted it at me. She's like, "How have I never heard of this band before?" And it was Belzaleb, and it was actually on Discord.
Yep.
It was on the A to J Discord, and I was like, what? And but yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah, Belzaleb, pretty damn good.
Of course, ignore the 80s VHS quality here of like a camera on a tripod, like in the corner.
And she doesn't sound bad too.
Oh yeah.
Like she's really good. I just wonder why they don't really talk much about why she left.
Look how tiny this venue is. That looks
It looks
like
like
the back.
someone's basement.
Yeah, that's the end of it right there. That like a little alcove wall part. There should not be this many people in that tiny room. This is not up to code.
This is a fire hazard.
So was that the X venue. That was like a fire hazard too.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Look at that! That has to be a tech, the one like bored on the floor. You see him?
He's just like, I heard this shit already, bro.
Yeah, because he's kind of getting mad at the people who are pushing against him too.
He's just like, I'm just doing my job.
Both of them, yeah, both of them. They are not feeling that. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if they're techs or if they're like crowd control or both. But yeah.
But this sounds pretty good for the VHS quality.
I know. Yeah, if you know where to look, you could find both the their album and the demo or EP or whatever it is.
Yeah, the Belzaleb record is pretty fucking good. I'm pretty sure you can find it on YouTube. Whoever would, like, if you guys decide to listen to them, they're fucking awesome. They
Okay.
have, like I said,
Go ahead. I took a breath because I looked at the next slides and I'm like, here we go. So
here we go, guys.
So we're not going to say this word because I don't want to get like immediately demonetized. Or we need demonetized. I'm not going to demonetize it at all. But I still don't want to say the word. I don't want to get like, age restricted or something like that. We're going to say Hydra. For, bands that use Hydra imagery. You can see the word there on the screen. Now, we're going to talk about one band by the name of Rommel. Now, for those who don't know, Rommel is a reference to Hydra because Rommel was the... I can't remember his first name, but Rommel was the general, the Desert Fox or whatever, who fought like in Egypt, or I want to say it was Egypt, who fought for Hydra there. And so yeah,
the Desert Fox.
I want to say that was his like his nickname, quote unquote, something Rommel. I think that was his name because he was one of the generals during World War II. Now, for that side, not for the the Allies.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
What's crazy?
The non-good guys.
Yes. What's crazy though is we already mentioned Rommel, Rosenfeld, and Mein Kampf. What's crazy is they all use this imagery. They all obviously they all have names, especially Mein Kampf. What I want to reiterate, for better or worse, the use of this imagery does not
distasteful. It's quite distasteful.
Oh yes, and I want to also put it out there that we do not condone its use. Yes, but I also feel that we can't ignore these bands because, as you might have heard us already say, they they literally weave in and out of all the bands we just talked about. Like Rommel has members of who'd been in and out of Saver, Tiger X, and Ion.
And yeah.
And I think didn't we talk about that? Some of them also were in the others. Some of them are also in Mein Kampf and Rosenfeld. It's funny because the very first time we did this panel, we did it at Fanime. I'll never forget when we got to this slide. I think because the panel was a lot shorter back then, so we kind of we kind of got to this panel. I mean, this slide a lot quicker. Well, way quicker than 3 hours, but we got to it a lot quicker, and like the whole panel stopped. Remember, we had like 15 minutes of like discussion and questions.
Oh. There are so many people asking.
Yeah, they were asking, they were giving their opinions, their views on like why it is, because obviously, for those that don't know, the imagery of that, and mind you, okay, let's also say this. When these bands don't have pro Hydra songs, they're not like singing about like, you know,
they're talking about war and like occult and like fantasy. They used
it's shock value.
Hydra, for shock value, and like I said, I guess some people do it here in America, but not to the extent of showing, you know, the swastika.
Yeah, it's
and burying it on your clothes and on flags and stuff.
And of course, it's worth noting that the Manju. Somebody correct me. I'm sure I'm getting that wrong. The inverted, well, the original version of what would become that imagery, but like the right way and not at an angle, is a symbol used in like, you know, throughout Asia. Of course, like I remember going to all the temples like in Taiwan and like, oh look, it's that symbol. I don't want to say it was as a joke, but I would share it to everybody. I'm like, look, it's like you uncultured swine. It's the fucking, you know, it's a symbol in Buddhist culture. Like, stop. But obviously it's being used to like shock people, and it worked because now we're talking about them 30 years later but what's most important is that it's just insane how intertwined they are. I just wanted to
like they have Rommel, Mein Kampf, Rosenfeld, and Ion, and even in X Japan, the reason why these bands are so prominent too is because it's not the shock value, but they are the underground. Like they were the underground of metal in Japan. Like they're definitely everything opposite of what the pop shit was.
And I kind of wish I had them here. But it's also worth noting that this wasn't an 80s thing. Like, VK bands kept doing this throughout the 90s and the 2000s. Malice Miser have used this imagery. Gact Solo has used the imagery. Hyde has used the imagery. It goes on. The list literally goes on. I remember Kishidan, who's one of like Japan's biggest like rock bands. They got a lot of flack because there was a video of them like wearing like SS style uniforms at one of their concerts, like this like 10 years ago, but it made like national news, like world news, I mean to say, because a clip of it was shown like an MTV Europe or VH1 Europe, one of the music channels, and somebody saw it, like somebody from like the anti-Jewish defamation league saw it, and they're like, what the fuck? And to this day, this Kishidan Live, and they were promoting a DVD, has never been released because they were under Sony, and this made like world news. Like I heard about it, I'm like, oh shit, Kishidan's making like CNN. Like what the fuck happened, you know? So this is something that still goes on today, but usually it's not done this overtly. But yeah, it's complicated. I don't want to talk too much about it. The bands themselves, also it's worth mentioning, Rommel and Mein Kampf both only really had demos. Rosenfeld put out a crap ton of albums, and like, you know,
actually they only have one album, but they have a whole bunch of demos. They have a whole bunch of demos. Yeah,
well, they have a lot more material because they definitely have the full album that I've heard, and like, I guess other collectors. But yeah,
like for between the three, between the three. Rosenfeld has like the most material and the most unique material too. Like I love, like, despite the swastika and all that, and the Hydra and the imagery of Hydra, I love their fucking music for thrash. Like anybody that loves like thrash metal, straight up fucking good.
Yeah.
Good, very unique sounding too, and like that's why I was just like, I don't condone the look because I'm just like, yeah, fuck all that shit.
Yeah,
Right?
of
But I was
course.
just like, but like the other thing too is like they're not talking about, killing Jews and doing all this other like crazy fucking Hail Hydra shit. Just talking about war, violence, killing and all that stuff.
Yeah, I moved
So
away from
like,
that slide in case somebody randomly
yeah,
logs on
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what the fuck?
Go ahead.
But
We'll go on
But
to the
we'll-
next slide and show some rock.
we're gonna watch a clip. Now, once again, you'll see it right off. Like, they're like little flags. I'm really worried people are gonna just like somebody's gonna tune into like our Twitch stream this second, and like what like A to G's canceled. But no, this is for informational purposes only. I have no idea what the song is called, by the way. I think the YouTube video I got it from does tell me, but I just didn't write it down. But yeah, you can see the armband there. And when they pull back, you'll see it on the flags. You'll see the banners, I mean. This looks like it's the same venue that X Japan was actually at in the other clip. I wonder if it is.
It was like,
Yeah, I wonder if it is. It might be, because usually these venues are like...
The setup
Yeah.
looks almost the same.
I'm curious now. I'm gonna go like examine them closely later on.
Play by play. I just love how they look like they're like bad guys from Disney Star.
Yes! It's like... Oh my... Oh my... Shinderu. Nani? Yeah, the head explodes. Oh... I just wanted to see the unison headbanging. You can't take a band too seriously with doing that. I mean, like, you can't take the band's, like, imagery that seriously, I mean to say.
I know, right?
Like, even though they clearly were not the first band to do it, whenever I see headbanging in unison, I think it's ZZ Top. Well, not slow headbanging.
Except did that in Balls to the Wall, too.
But yeah, let's go back to our thing. And it's funny because that's actually kind of like one of our last things. Here, the other two. That's FanimeCon on the left, and that's Rosenfeld on the right.
Oh, here, let's.
And like I said, it's kind of hard. Rosenfeld has the nicest picture quality because they're the band, like I said, that has an album and they're a bit more mainstream. Like they have a bit more to contribute musically, even though they're, like I said, their songs aren't about that stuff, but they are pretty singing about like war and violence and like imagine like a more harder rocking like Sabaton thing or something.
Yeah, so it's like it's interesting because like it's funny because like in Mein Kampf, I think we said easily made Mein Kampf had Dean in it, left to make Ion. Rosenfeld was made with Hisayoshi. Hisayoshi left Rosenfeld for a bit because the guitarist quit. Went to Ion. Left, went back to Rosenfeld. Drummer from Rommel. Rommel's dead, so he came and drummed for Rosenfeld.
Yeah.
It's like, and this is what we're saying. Like, people share like band members. Like these, it's funny because it's specifically these three. It happens to be these three fucking bands.
Like they would do that, and like they have. It's funny because they actually have pretty. There's this site that I use, and I probably shouldn't mention it, but it's called J-Pop Suki, and it's like it's mainly there for like J-pop music. Obviously, as the name implies, it's a private tracker for like music and like stuff like that. Like you have to have somebody like log you. I mean, like give you an invite and so on. It's private, but they have the craziest extensive history of Rommel and Rosenfeld on the site, and I'm like, what the fuck? I totally forgot about to the second. I'm like, it's so crazy how detailed it is for being a J-pop site.
like it's funny because like, and then also like the vocalist for Mein Kampf was Rod. and then Rod was also a fucking eye.
Oh my god. See, well, let's
right. So it's like, let's. So it's just like.
First of all, I
It's
want to
quite
show.
incredible.
I want to show this little clip. We didn't have time to show it at ALA. I don't think Warren's even seen it. It's Kabuki Rocks, and like the song's Oedo. There's no, which is the name for Tokyo. There's no real place to put this. I want to talk about the band.
Oh,
but
yeah, we did do this.
Oh, we did. I
Uh-huh.
wanted to talk about the band in general, but there's not much to say about them. They're not that influential. They're kind of a. It's kind of like a total joke version of something like that, like Second by Two would do.
Higher.
But it's still a nice palate cleanser after the Rommel one. I didn't want to end the panel there, so we should move Rommel. See, I'm scared to put Rommel in the middle. So yeah.
Do you think we should?
I don't want to axe them because they definitely deserve to be there, like history-wise, if for no other reason. But yeah, so we'll watch Kabuki
I guess we'll
Rocks.
figure out like a new structure.
I can't remember the singer's name. He came to the U.S. a couple years back, and we interviewed him in one of his newer bands. Still doing the kabuki thing, but he's doing like in some more traditional sounding band. They have a ton of material released, Kabuki Rocks, but they're very listen to them, throw them away. No offense to any Kabuki Rock fans out there. It's just I have no other place to put them. This is a nice place to put them, and also I'll keep that video up. I mean, keep this particular one up because I want to just drop this into there. I said I do. I said I showed this one too, and I kind of forgot until right now. Oh, it's not playing. You can hear it, but it's not playing. Hold on.
Actually, I don't even see it playing at all.
I know you can hear it, but it's not. It's not like showing. Hold on. Sorry, I keep saying hold on. Okay, there it goes. Let's back this up. Okay. This is Loudness with Soldier of Fortune. This will be the last palate cleanser before we start getting our little conclusion-y bits in. This is Loudness. That's Mike Viscera. American, hence his perfect English. Some people might also know him because he recorded 2 albums with Yngwie Malmsteen.
And he also is Annie Metal America.
Oh, you're right. I met him in I met him at I should have found that too. I have all these autographs from him. I met them at AX. That band also included Rudy Sarzo on bass, who was the bassist for Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz, in their early days with Randy Rhoads. He was also in Quiet Riot with Randy Rhoads, Rudy Sarzo. So yeah, Animetal USA.
Damn, that man was lucky.
Yeah.
With motherfucking Randy Rhoads. Oh.
Yeah, he was like BFFs with Randy Rhoads too. Like. But yeah, Mike Viscera, and there's I just want to get to Akira's solo because his solo is amazing in this song.
Yeah, his solo in this song is so it's beautiful as hell, man. Soldier of Fortune.
I remember somebody asked him to sing Soldier of Fortune at Animetal's panel, and he wouldn't sing. He's just like Soldier of Fortune, just like he just said it. He's like, there, I sung it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he like, you know, gets sick of people like, you know,
yeah,
keep it to sing that. But yeah, it is his, you know, one of his most memorable songs. Right here. Look at this guy.
He's fucking amazing. Anyway, that's Soldier of Fortune.
Actually, I have this on cassette. I used to before when I got my car, I didn't have I had a cassette player, and my dad gave me all of his metal because he went digital, he went digital because my dad's a cool guy, and I just took his tape and I used to listen to that record all the time while I was driving because I didn't have any other way to put on music except for fucking cassettes.
Actually, I think I own this on vinyl. I think he signed it. Mike Becerra did at AX. I can't remember if he did or didn't, but I'm pretty sure he did. I remember there was nobody really there to see them at AX, and I bought their album, and they had signed that for me, of course. And you technically were only supposed to have one item signed. The things were, but there was no line. There was people there, but there was 10 people there, and I purposely waited to the very last person to be the last person in line so I could have more time with them. And I just had them sign everything. I have Rudy Sarzo's book. I think it's called Bang Your Head. It's his biography of his days with Randy Rhoads, in Quiet Riot and in Ozzy's band. And I had him sign that. I had Mike Becerra sign the Loudness album, and also the
Metal.
No, the Yngwie Malmsteen album. One of his albums with Yngwie Malmsteen, Seventh Sign. I love that album. One of my favorite albums ever, and I had him sign that. And I can't remember what else I had. I had Rudy Sarzo sign a couple things. I had them sign a ton of shit. And Kristen Pelletieri was their guitarist, and I had him sign some Pelletieri albums. But yeah,
I like how this guy. You would be the last guy. What did they say when they saw you come up with all that shit?
Rudy was actually really shocked, what? And then you could tell that Mike Becerra was literally tired. He was he looked like he was physically beat that day. But he seemed amusing, and in Pelletieri he was all oh man, you really know your stuff, because he was. I had him sign his first album. I think it's called Stand Up or something. I forget what it's called. It's the one with Graham Bonnet on vocals, and because I love that album too. But I was talking to him how one of my favorite albums is I can't remember. I'm here. I'm saying it. I forgot the name of it. I told him the name of the album, and I told some of my favorite songs, the Pelletieri songs, and he was all "What?" He's like, "Wow, you really know your stuff," and he was all just shocked. And yeah, but I'm actually a huge fan of Rudy Sarzo. It was one of my heroes. So that was that was just crazy seeing all of them there. Rudy Sarzo, Kristen Pelletieri. Sorry, I don't remember who the drummer was. I'm not gonna lie. He might have been famous. I know he was in he was from a band, but I just don't remember his name or anything. But and Mike Becerra, and I was just oops. I think it was John Deet or something like that. From he's from a band too. He's famous in his own right, but I'm I got nothing for you special to sign. But yeah, and the staff didn't care because what were they gonna do? They had
there's nobody else left. What are they gonna do? Rush you through?
Yeah, because they had an hour to sign, and they left early. Of course, they waited a bit longer, but they left early. But I was the last one, so they kind of just they just shrugged and just let me keep talking to them and signing things. And they did have a manager, and the manager seemed amused. The manager was Japanese, but the manager seemed amused as fuck and didn't say anything. So they let me keep going. But yeah,
talking about Graham Bonnet. Remember, I think in 2000 he was singing for Anthem.
He was. I forgot we were supposed to talk about that too.
We talked about that.
Yeah, I can go on about Graham Bonnet forever. I went to go see Graham Bonnet's band live, about 5 years ago at the Whiskey, and I bought an autographed guitar from him from a charity auction they had at that show. It was a big show called it was Crew Fest Hollywood, but not Crew Fest Motley Crue, and it's Crew Fest Hollywood, and I bought a guitar signed by him through the charity auction, and I bid $250 because I actually won it for $200, but they're like, can you do $250 because we're trying to get this for charity? I'm like, fuck it, I don't care. But I bought it for $250. I take it home. The guitar is a $500 guitar that they signed, and I took off his autographs because I thought the guitar was worth more without it. And
shit.
I feel bad. But yeah, I took off Graham Bonnet's autograph because I'm this is a $500 guitar. Because it's an electric acoustic, and it's really nice. And it came with all this shit, because it was all donated. It came with the case, a really nice case too. A case I would never have bought for it because it's really expensive itself. The stand, all this other shit. So yeah. Anyway, let's move back to the panel. Sorry. I actually forgot we were doing a podcast. I thought we were just watching loudness videos. Let's go back to the honorable mentions. That band right there that is in the picture is a band called Crowley, which I know very little of, but I just love that picture of them. And
I just love that executioner. They have like that executioner in the middle, but holding chains. I don't even know why he's holding chains.
I feel sorry for the Dead End guy who wanted us to talk about Dead End at the very top of this podcast, because here they are, glam metal band's reaction, Dead End, 44 Magnum, Gargoyle. Saber Bells, actually I wrote a slide for Saber Bells in this panel for ALA, but then I took it out because of time. But Saber Bells
Oh, continue, sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna move on, but go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying Gizm.
Oh yeah.
So fucking cool. Like, it's weird because they're like a hardcore band, like, but they were putting like, I think I put it into the notes that I gave you, but they actually, guys, like, they're like a hardcore band, straight up hardcore band, but they're putting like twin harmonies of fucking like Iron Maiden and fucking like in Judas Priest and just, you know, any new album, if you guys don't know, new wave of British heavy metal.
Oh yeah.
And they kind of fused that shit together. It was fucking phenomenal. I was like, holy shit! Like, this is pretty early. Like, it's not crossover like how crossover thrash is like hardcore and thrash, but it was like a crossover between hardcore and fucking new wave of British heavy metal. And it's funny because people in the comments of YouTube were just like, they needed a guitarist, and like, hey, we should just get this heavy metal guitarist. I'm like, okay, and they got him, and then they fucking fused it together. And I think for our panel, I think they would be a very good addition, only because like their sound is extremely unique, especially for that time. So yes, we're gonna. I'm not gonna go into it. I just wanted to say like their sound.
No, we're definitely
really
gonna.
Fucking cool.
I kind of made this list also in the slide so we could keep pulling bands. We could like rotate them. We'll pull some into the actual panel. Then we'll take out like Blizzard and we'll put them into this slide. And you know,
like, I like Blizzard. It's just,
but you know what I mean? It's like we'll rotate some in and out. And I like how Doom is so good that they're on this page twice. They're under lesser known and hardcore. I don't know why that is.
I actually needed to start listening to them because I was just like, I wonder how Doom sounds like. And people were saying that they were really good. They call it really good progressive thrash, and they said music like thrash metal done right. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay. Yeah. I'm looking at reviews, people getting 100s and 90%, and I was like, all right, let's see if the hype is.
Virgin Killer is an amazing band that they have like 2 albums out there, and you can find those albums kind of easily if you just like Google it. Like, they're called just Virgin Killer, not to be confused with Sex Virgin Killer.
Sex Virgin Killer is a different band.
Yeah, they're actually a really good band too, but they're like modern. But Virgin Killer is a band from the 80s. I know nothing about them though. I just love their music. But yeah, there's Reaction, there's Dead End. Reaction's on there twice too. What is this list? Manuel, come on, read. Reaction, Dead End, 44 Magnum, Gargoyle, Corrupted, Doom. Atrangia is another all-female band. Mari Hamada is somebody who was in this panel at some point, and I took her out. She's a soloist. But she does like really good, like similar to Shoya. I think her first album was very poppy metal, but she does like pretty much straight metal, and she's amazing. And Terra Rosa is a female-fronted metal band, which is also unusual, but we just didn't. We can't have room for all these. And there's a ton more. This is like a very limited list. Bless you.
Thank you.
Oh shit! I forgot. I can't move that way. Yeah, so this is our conclusion. And fun fact, we said this already at the top. Almost every band we talked about is, with the exception of some, like Belzaleb is not around anymore. But almost every band that we talked, and Sabbath, but almost every band we talked about is back to some degree. To some degree.
Sabbath's still around.
Oh, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but yeah, Sabbath's around. I think. Kamaitachi's around.
Even Mein Kampf that has like sometimes they just play out of fucking random.
No, it's funny because I was talking about this that guy who we did the panel with like at Fanime last year. He did a show. Like, he plays music. He did a show with Saver Tiger, and Mein Kampf was there, and it was like, wait, they're still around. So yeah.
Like, I think that there's just to fuck around.
Exactly. Well, so Saver Tiger, to be honest, because all of them are like older and they have like day jobs and whatever, and they're just like, you know, doing this for kicks. But yeah, like all the bands we mentioned, Anthem's still around, Loudness is still around. Like the list can literally go on, and even some of the ones that
Metal's not dead.
Yep, and there's newer bands. Obviously, there's a lot of visual kei bands that have the influences there, and a lot of them are still around. Sex Virgin Killer, once again, not to be confused with the Virgin Killer that we talked about in the last slide, is another really good like modern version of like the thrashy type 80s sound and look. And yeah, what's sad is that a lot of the you can find info on some of them, you can find music on some of them. Video is really hard. Like finding anything on Belzaleb that isn't that video we already showed is kind of difficult, and so on. But yeah, it is what it is. It's good music. Everyone should listen to it. And we turned a 90-minute panel into 3 hours. Well, I think it was like 2 hours, 2.5 because of the intros and like the lost time. But still, we Warren legitimately before we started, he was wondering if, because usually when we do the panel, like normally people will like stop us to ask a question or to make a comment or to like just to talk to us during the panel. And he was like, "Oh, without that, will we have time?" And I'm like, "We'll have time." I didn't know we take this much time though.
Yeah, I didn't think we were gonna be. I thought that it was gonna be faster. I was like, maybe an hour.
No, I was thinking that too. I was like, because the Macross one, we went through it like in under 2 hours, and here we are still 3 hours. It's past 9.
It's only because there's so much to say.
I was gonna order a pizza. I think it's too late, but whatever.
Bro, I actually have to fucking cook.
Yeah, I was about to say so we'll
wrap this up. Cook right now.
We'll wrap this up right now. But yeah, this I will say, first of all, before I really wrap this up, I'll say this right now. If you like what you saw, either on Twitch or on YouTube, let us know if you want to see more content like this. I mean, specifically like this, like a panel, because I have these up the ass, like of different topics that we don't even cover anymore, that I would love to do, and just it's different, and it actually works. It's funny because we actually, if you've been watching the podcast regularly, I've been crapping on doing panels as podcasts, how they don't work, and it actually kind of does. It's like it's different, but it kind of works. Anyway,
it's like we just don't have the audience.
Yeah,
they ask us. I mean, we have the chat, but we don't actually like It's a little different than when people like raise their hand. Like,
yeah.
Hey,
and then there are times when like the audience is like, you could tell that the audience isn't feeling something, so we'll move it along. Or when they really like something, so we'll just leave it there, kind of things like that, or we'll keep talking about it. So it's hard to gauge the audience when they're not like visibly giving us visible reaction. But anyway, if you want more of this, let me know, let us know, and I'll see what we can do. And like, comment, subscribe on everything. But yeah, if you want to. So yeah, jumping back to the actual thing though, if you really want to see us though, we will be doing this as soon as the Rona stops. We'll be or gets under control. Fingers crossed, ALA next year, and that's being optimistic. That's like being like, hopefully ALA next year it'll happen, because I've already written off all of 2020, and so is everyone. So is California, but hopefully ALA next year happens, and we could do this panel there, and then you could see it in person. We actually, it's funny because like I forgot to reply to him too fast. Then NAMM happened, and then the Rona happened. But like we met somebody from ESP, the guitar company. It was the company, because I did do more than guitars. We met someone from ESP at the panel we did at ALA, and he invited me to go check out like their like factory or their headquarters or whatever you would call that they have in LA, and. So yeah, hopefully I get to see that and I'll report back, and then all that's to the panel. But yeah, I don't know. That was just, I love this panel. It's a fun one, and it's really different from our other stuff. Because for those who don't really used to go to our panels back in the day, they were always VK and Idol, VK and Idol, VK and Idol, and it was rare that we branched out from that. So talking about metal is like pretty unique.
It just took a while too, because even. Like when you think about it, it would have just been you and then the other buddy.
Because for those who don't, like, I could totally kind of do a panel on my own if I needed to. That's not and I have done it in the past, but I don't like it. It's not even like I don't like talking, because I could talk, but it's like it's. I always feel like you always need someone else there to like bounce things off of.
Bounce off of.
Yeah.
Because even that, then things, and that's why I was just like, oh man, as soon as you realized that I like, when we first kind of like, when we actually really became like homies, then you're just like, all right,
We're doing
It's
this.
time. We're rolling this out. And I was like, fuck it, why not?
But yeah. So on that note, we're gonna start wrapping this up for real. We're going live on Tuesday. Believe it or not, we've been doing this podcast for over 2 years. We're about to hit 100th episode in 2 weeks. We've actually done way more than 100 episodes. Like, this is a half episode. This is 98.5. So we're actually at about 120, believe it or not. But so yeah, 99th episode, we're gonna look back on the past 100 plus, and I have a lot of clips lined up. So if you want to just tune into that while we like reminisce and get nostalgic, watch that. If you're really interested in this topic, it's not quite the same, but it's a similar like different take on things that we usually cover. Next Saturday we should be doing Eroguro with Rachel, so tune in for that. And then the following Tuesday is our 100th episode, and we have a couple ideas. I don't want to name what they all are, but we're still working on that. So keep tuning in. If you're on Twitch, thank you for watching this. Thank you for watching through the break.
Thank you.
Yes. If you're on YouTube, thank you for watching the whole thing. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you really want to support us, you can sub to us on Twitch. You can throw us some bits. You can donate to us. You can join our Patreon. Unfortunately, it's kind of inactive at the moment because of the Rona. Like, we used to give early access to interviews, but we haven't done that many because of the Rona. So support us there anyway. It's $1 or $2, however much you want to give. And if you can't do any of that, if you can't support us financially or any other way, then legit just keep watching this shit. That's all that really matters. That's the easiest way to support us. Actually, the very easiest way to support us is to hit the like button, because that actually shows interaction. Leave a comment, hit like, let us know what you think. That's the best way to put it. And I actually read every comment we get, including the spam ones. Like, hey, you want to be friends, and you get your account taken over. Don't do that, because. But yeah, like that's a new thing. No joke. Go watch Some Ordinary Gamers video on that. But anyways, on that note, thank you all for watching. Peace out.
Thank you guys. Hold up, we're gonna put a last plug. Shit that you guys should. I recommend Rosenfeld, Pigs of the Empire, Gizm's Detestation, Bells the Live record, Anthem's fucking Bound to Break, and then Shoya's
Outer Limits.
Was it Outer Limits? There's more, but we need to close this up.
So yeah, check all those out. If you want to see this PDF that we actually use, drop me a message. It's probably on our website, but you could drop me a message anyway. And on that note, peace, good night, take care. See you later, and be safe and be healthy in these trying times. That's not a joke. Seriously, keep yourself safe. Good night.
Deuces.